1,500 Google reviews and a near 5-star rating, Schroeder's Towing is practically the most respected hookers in town. Whether you're stuck on the side of the road or just need a lift, our reliable service is always ready to roll. Call Schroeder's Towing today.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full-service, dine-in buffet with barbecue, ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road has new hours. Now open from 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell.
Who the are you, man?
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. Welcome aboard the Postgame Show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Busy afternoon planned. We will be shooting straight up to Nashville, Tennessee coming up here in just a minute.
That's right.
Not in a minute, like 15 minutes.
Like a minute times 15.
Times 15, yeah. But our good friend, the voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott, will be, I believe, he will be at Gamecock Shoot-Around.
Yep, it is. That's around the time it starts. It will start whenever we get them on the air.
So you may hear lots of dribbles of the basketball and squeaks of the sneaker and such. But
those are gnat sounds.
We love that kind of thing. That's what radio's all about, man. I mean, we don't have the pictures to transmit to you, so you'll get it the old-fashioned way. But we'll have that, and then
great sports sound, man.
Sneakers, yeah, sure. The sneakers, man. The squeak of sneakers is truly it's right there. I told Derek this yesterday because he was like, "If you don't mind the noise," and I'm like, "No, bro,
we prefer it."
Yeah,
actually,
we would. I mean, we're serious. We would prefer it. The squeak of the sneaker is right there, on par, direct par with the ping of the bat when like Stuart or Derek or whomever. Or our late great friend Tommy Moody was at BP. Ping.
Oh, the best.
Squeak.
Underrated one.
Yeah.
Hockey
with a slap.
A morning skate with a slap.
Yeah.
The puck getting hit.
And then when guys stop and the whoosh. Yeah.
Oh,
I bet that's good.
Great sound. Great.
We don't have a lot of that around here, but I imagine when you were working in the aforementioned Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. All the time. We have people calling in for reports from morning skates all the time. And I remember, like, I could close my eyes and be like, this is a great audio medium.
Yeah, good stuff. But we'll talk with Derek. And then coming up around 4:15, our good friend Lulu Kesson. Lulu thinks, so y'all don't tell her. Lulu thinks she's going to be talking South Carolina women's basketball and their SEC championship run. And then, looking ahead to whether or not they might be the number 1 overall seed. But we're not doing that. We're going to ask her nothing but questions about Kim Mulkey calling her out for eating cheese sticks like 50 feet away from Kim Mulkey. Just don't tell Lulu.
We're going to get to the bottom of the biggest controversy in Greenville over the weekend.
Yeah. If you haven't heard about this, it is a true story. And Lulu was not, let me repeat, and I'll repeat this again later. Lulu was not a direct part of Coach Mulkey's postgame presser.
Nope.
Lulu was simply in the media room, and the food portion of said room and workroom are adjacent to, but not in, the same area as the press conference seating. And for some reason, Coach Mulkey decided to say something about it. I still don't. Anyway, we have that clip. We'll play it later.
Oh, yeah.
We'll play it later. We'll play it later. That's fine. I just want to make sure we We had that. Get into a few baseball things, some bad news for Yankee fans, which sucks, I know, and more NFL moves today. The interesting one today, the most interesting one today, Daniel Jones going to Indy. It's a $14 million deal. I agree with, I was listening to Dan Patrick this morning for a few minutes, and they discussed this, and I agree with Dan. For $14 million, Elijah, on a one-year deal, they're not signing you as a backup. They're not necessarily signing you as a starter either, but $14 million, look, for NFL quarterback these days, that's definitely like, going to TJ Maxx. I get it. But you might find something of real value at TJ Maxx if you know how to shop.
There's some bangers.
And,
TJ Maxx.
and they
some
may
respect on that name.
Yeah, definitely. And they may well have found something like that. But I think Daniel, listen, I'm still not convinced that Daniel Jones is a complete bust. I know some are. But a lot of people thought Sam Darnold was a complete bust. And Sam Darnold just earned himself $100 million. That's not a bust, my man.
That was the season of a guy who won his team 14 games.
Yeah. Now, I know that not all of it is guaranteed, I think, but well over half of that $100 million is guaranteed.
Which for an NFL contract is really good.
It is. And so can Daniel Jones be the same guy? Again, the Giants are a mess. The Giants are so close to the Jets that it's sad. It's not funny. It's sad. I mean, I know I say it almost every day when we talk about the NFL and the Jets come up. The Jets are the Jets. And there should be no real reason for any Jet fan to have realistically high expectations for their ball club. Like, be really excited when you do have a better than expected year. And a better than expected year should just mean like making the playoffs or even getting close to them, because you should never, as a Jet fan, expect to make the playoffs on an annual basis or at least a regular basis. But if you're a Giant fan, you should. You should. I mean, your franchise has won multiple Super Bowls. And in different eras.
Decades.
Yeah, in different eras. I mean, so you should expect it. So, but was he just surrounded by less than nothing? Is it him? How good are the Colts? I don't know. And I was joking with Elijah. Anthony Richardson, if Anthony Richardson were one of my children, Anthony Richardson would be my third oldest child. And I know I got to put that in some kind of context. I mean, I have a 26-year-old, almost 26-year-old, and a 23-year-old, and I think he'll be 23 later this year. But my point on Richardson is he's still just so young and raw. I think he too is good, but I think bringing someone in who is a veteran, who has been an everyday starter for a couple of seasons, to compete with and push him and work with him all at the same time is going to be very good for him. I still think that the Colts did the right thing in taking him when they did and where they did, because that's what a draft is.
If you truly believe he's going to be what you expect,
but you've got
to be patient with him.
Well, like we talked about yesterday, like what Washington did, in the last couple of weeks, the move for Debo. And then the move yesterday, and these are trades, too. These aren't free agent deals. Let's see what else the Commanders go do. But the move to get Debo last week, right? Last week? Week before?
2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
That was last week.
Okay. I'm trying to remember when it was. Anyway, regardless. The move for Debo, and then the move yesterday for Laramie Tunsil to continue to help support the growth and development of Jaden Daniels, like just tip of the cap, A+ to Washington. And Indy needs to do something like that. But that's been the big move today. Daniel Jones to Indy on a $14 million, just 1 year deal. And I imagine there's some incentives in there. And if they like what they see, then I'm sure they can talk. And if they like what they see and they want to talk and other people see it, like, oh, okay. Again, 1 year deal. He'll be a free agent this time next year. So there's that. Otherwise, how you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Good to see you. Yeah, you're heading up to Nashville as soon as we're done?
Yep.
Yeah?
As soon as we get off the air. Filling up that car with gas and heading that way.
You doing the Atlanta up way again?
Yeah, still, I don't feel confident enough going on 40.
Going up through the mountains. Yeah, I hear you. Well.
So still going through Atlanta. But that should still put me there around 11:30.
I was going to say, by the time you hit Atlanta tonight, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be smooth sailing. I don't expect any issues. And I say that now and watch there be issues. I say that now, and I'm probably going to get to my destination by the time I have to wake up. Yeah, it's happened before.
If Alabama and Tennessee play on Sunday for the SEC basketball championship, could this conference in any way, shape, or form even – all right.
And Houston's really close to having another one locked up. But 3 is still in the picture. Like, let's say Houston gets upset in the first round of the Big 12 tournament. And
who they get? Do you know? I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know who they play.
They're probably going to play, because they have, 16 teams in that league?
It's a good league.
So they'll play like an 8 or the 9-16, I guess. No, so TCU and Colorado are getting ready to tip off now. And then TCU will play whoever the 8 seed is, potentially TCU.
Okay.
TCU could get them. TCU's pulled off a couple of upsets so far this year.
Houston's got some dudes.
Oh, they got a lot of dudes. They defend, man. That team guards. There's probably not a team in college basketball that I would be more terrified of having to go against their defense than Houston. Freakishly athletic, very long.
I'm not predicting that Bama and Tennessee will play one another for the SEC championship.
It's possible the way the bracket
but
is.
But Lenardi today has Auburn and Florida as ones. And the possibility, I think, Tennessee will play Auburn probably, and Florida will play Bama. Is that the right way?
Yep.
In the bracket?
That's how it would match up. And if Alabama beats Florida, that's going to be Alabama's 12th quad one win. Tennessee beats Auburn, that's going to be their 11th quad one win. Or Tennessee beats Texas A&M, who they're more than likely going to play on Friday in the quarterfinals. Then they beat Auburn. That's going to put them at 12.
So Alabama, let me ask you this then. Instead of asking, could they have 4 1s? If Alabama or Tennessee win the SEC title, champion, or the tournament title, will they be a 1? Bama has a better chance, probably?
Bama has a better chance, yeah. Because based off like what their resume is, Bama's got a better chance. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, the pathway to 3. The only thing is, because I firmly believe Duke probably has theirs cemented just because they have lost very few games this year. They're the number 1 team in net. Houston does have 10 quad 1 wins. They also have a quad 2 loss, and that's nobody in the top 6 in net has one of those.
Who has that?
Houston.
Oh, Houston.
But they also went 19-1 in the Big 12 and won the regular season.
If I had told you at the beginning of the year that Duke would lose 1 conference game and it would be to Clemson, would you believe me?
Maybe. A little surprised, but I'd be like, interesting, okay, Now, if you would have told me that the ACC would have 3 18-2 teams or better, I would have been a little surprised.
And that they're the only ones that are going to the tournament.
And they're the only ones that are any good, in that league.
What has happened to the ACC?
They added some bad schools. That didn't help. But also the bottom of the ACC, the traditional members, I don't know what the hell happened to NC State this year. 0 production after a Final Four run.
Yeah.
They made that Final Four, and then they just, we're good.
Right. Yeah, and Coach Larinaga, and Miami just fell away. Virginia has just fallen away.
Florida State really
had a horrible year. Leonard's that's been a more steady decline for Leonard.
North Carolina had no excuse to be this bad.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah,
zero excuse to be as bad as they were.
I just feel like Wake should be better than they are. I don't know that they should.
The roster was good enough for them to
That's what I thought. Pitt has had their moments. Louisville needs to be Louisville's Louisville. They need to be better. I know they're getting there.
Yeah, so they went 18-2 in the league this year.
Yeah, they're getting. Yeah, well, that's true. They're one of the good ones. That's true.
I wouldn't want to have to play them this year. That's a well coached group. Home run higher.
But they need. I mean, ACC at the size it is should have at least 8.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And with the history and the pedigree of a lot of those conferences, like Wake Forest shouldn't have this long of a drought with making the NCAA tournament. NC State shouldn't have to rely on winning 5 games in 5 days.
NC State in men's basketball is like A&M in football. Like, why aren't you? You should be better.
When they hire Will Wade, they'll be better.
Yeah. I think they'll do it, not Virginia, right? Because I've seen some people saying that Virginia, and I'm like, I don't see Virginia hiring Will Wade.
NC State feels like a better fit.
They'd be all over that. We'll talk more basketball. The Gamecocks in Arkansas will get the SEC tournament going tomorrow. Our good friend, the voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott, is at the gym right now watching the Gamecocks practice. We'll get his take on what to look for when the postgame show returns.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. It's that time again. Break out your clubs for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. This year in partnership with the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Join us on Friday, March 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Call Charwood today to sign up and secure your foursome at 803-755-2000. We'll have the Par 5 Golf Club Cannon and also be giving away a pair of baseball and football season tickets to 2 lucky winners. Plus, one of our special guests is Basketball Hall of Famer and former Gamecock great Alex English. So don't miss out. Call Charwood today at 803-755-2000 to register. 107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Skip the oil, frying with air. Like a Bosch. Crispy like the county fair. Like a Bosch. Cook like a Bosch.
Go inside the Nest on Gadsden Street in the Vista to find out how you can cook like a Bosch.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, where the inventory's overflowing and the deals are in full bloom. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
10 years ago, who could have predicted what the internet would bring? Streaming videos, voice assistants, smartphones, smart homes, work from home. But here we are, wondering what the next 10 years will bring. Whatever it brings, Lumos 100% fiber optic internet is ready with incredible speeds and reliability. So you can do more and be more than you ever thought possible on the internet built for the future. See your future at lumosfiber.com/future.
Join us Sunday, March 16th for a spectacular evening at the Ice House Amphitheatre with Rattle and Hum, the ultimate U2 tribute band, presented by O'Hara's Public House. Experience an electrifying performance that captures the essence of U2's iconic sound and energy. With over 14 years of playing together, watch the musicians of Rattle and Hum bring U2's greatest hits to life. Gates open at 3 p.m. and the music kicks off at 4 o'clock. Secure your tickets online at icehouseamphitheatre.com and prepare for an unforgettable show.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/news. That's ethos.com/news.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Currently car shopping? State Credit Union now has auto loan rates as low as 4.25% APR. Plus, you'll have no car payment for up to 90 days.
For over 26 years, we've helped your neighbors recover millions. We know the law, the system, and what it takes to win around here. And remember, no recovery, no fee. That's my promise to you. Call 803-200-2000 for a free consultation. The Jeffcoat Firm. You deserve better, so call us.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
I don't care about the conference tournament, which is why we won it so many times, because I could care less. The tournament that matters is the NCAA tournament. Now, you play that tournament to get the best seed you can get. And if you're going to get to the finals, win. Or don't go to the finals and lose because you're exhausted and you got to play on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm like, let's play well and try to improve our seed.
Don't get confused, kids. That's not Ray Tanner from years gone by about the SEC baseball tournament. That is John Calipari, now the head coach of the Arkansas Razorback basketball team on the SEC basketball tournament that starts tomorrow as the Razorbacks take on the Gamecocks. Welcome back in alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips. As the voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott joins us from Carolina practice. Oh, it's over. How are you, sir?
Good. How you guys doing?
I'm all right. Does Lamont Paris care about the SEC basketball tournament?
Oh, yes, he does. Unlike John Calipari with whatever his latest edition of spin is, Lamont's pretty straightforward about the way we were finishing up the season, trying to be an opportunity to build momentum coming into this event. And I don't think he felt any different about it last year when we knew we were in a good place for an NCAA tournament bid, but I guess to each his own.
So let me take you to this time 2 years ago relative to now. We know what happened last year, and I'm not trying to equate this year with Lamont's first season, but in that sort of second half of the conference slate in that first year for him, we saw, I think, growth. We didn't see a whole lot of wins, but we saw a team that was definitely getting better and playing the way he wanted them to. How much of that did you see this year? Fewer wins, I know, but like even the other day, I thought Carolina played pretty well up in Knoxville, except for a brief stretch in the second half. Is there a way to compare and contrast what you saw from year 1 to year 3?
Well, I think if you take all factors into consideration, and what I mean by that is who you're playing matters too.
Yep.
And this league being at a historical high level right now, you can play better and it might not show up like you were just talking about on Saturday because you're on the road against a top 5 team. And sooner or later, what they do well eventually comes around. But yeah, I think you can see signs of that. You can see how this team figured out a little bit more offensively what they need to do to be more successful in terms of creating more space on the court for Colin to be able to operate within. And just trying to get some combinations there that work. I don't think this team has the same weapons that one had at the end of the year. Not that was a great offense, but in Gigi Jackson towards the end of his freshman year and Michi Johnson towards the end of that year, you had a couple guys who could score the basketball pretty routinely, and that's been the challenge this year is who your second option is consistently behind Colin. But I definitely feel like that you've seen strides made. Certainly you saw a couple wins picked up, and you saw some efforts that remained competitive. But, the other side of that is I was just telling Dan Schulman, who's going to be doing the games tomorrow, that, you start rattling off all those early season conference losses, the near misses collection, that, those were pretty good outings as well that just would have felt a lot different with one different possession.
Mm-hmm. And, well, I think the best draw you could possibly get, you got, right? Getting to play Arkansas in the first round here on Wednesday. And that was a game, Derek, that I thought South Carolina did a fantastic job of establishing exploiting the advantage you had. And that's pushing Ivisic around, pushing Arkansas's forwards around. And Colin had a phenomenal game, probably his best game of the season. How much of that do you think might change from one game to the next? Obviously, Arkansas is not going to do the exact same thing they did when they came here because that would be
Why
dumb.
not? Why can't they?
I would love for them to. Yeah, that would be great.
Right.
Yeah, keep you in Nashville a little bit longer. But I have a feeling that Arkansas is going to try to maybe mix some things up and not have to rely on their forwards as much because when they did that here, it didn't work. So how much of that do you think might be different tomorrow?
Well, the funny thing is, just looking at Arkansas' situation, the 2 games they played before South Carolina, they were really good. The 2 games they played after South Carolina, they were really good. That game just dropped in like an absolute bomb on them. It's so hard to figure when you see the point totals they had in the 2 before and the 2 after mid to upper mid 80s to low 90s in all 4 of those games. And then there was that stink bomb they had at Colonial Life Arena. And so you don't know, was that just one of those days where the guys weren't ready to play, or was that something South Carolina did that really took them out of sorts? I'm sure both of those aspects have some truth to them. But no, I'm with you. I'm curious to see how they defend Colin Murray-Boyles, because I couldn't imagine anybody going about it any worse than they did in that game. They let him get the ball anywhere on the court that he wanted to, and then they basically left Big Z out on an island to try and deal with him defensively, and that it was just a disastrous mismatch over and over and over again. So, yeah, I mean, that's the question. What do you do now? What's the tweak, as John Calipari used to always call the moves he made when his team was struggling at some point in a season at Kentucky? What's the tweak that he will make defensively in terms of how they defend Colin Murray-Boyles? And then what can South Carolina do similar to what they did in that game? Because defensively, that was a great effort by the Gamecocks. And a lot of that came down to the fact that, if you were going to put Colin Murray-Boyles on Big Z, he has the ability to go out on the perimeter and make it a little harder for him to shoot threes. And on ball switches, Zach Davis can also serve that purpose because of his length, and Colin wasn't completely overwhelmed having to switch off to a guard. So I'm sure Arkansas will have watched film of that and will look to adjust their offense too. So, yeah, I mean, having just seen this team less than 2 weeks ago, it will be interesting to see what the counter punches look like from both sides.
Talking to the voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott. Carolina, Arkansas tomorrow. Tip-off just past 1 o'clock. Derek and Judge Manning on the call starting at 12:30. We'll have it for you right here on the game and across the Gamecock Radio Network. I asked this next question somewhat philosophically, so follow me here. You know me well. Look, there's the obvious motivation of trying to win this thing. And we've seen schools, albeit rarely, go on some kind of crazy run. But beyond that, Derek, there's the feeling that this is going to be it for South Carolina this week, however many games they may play. Motivationally speaking for the program, what's at stake right now? What's the kind of taste that needs to be left in people's mouths that can be done this week in Nashville?
It's funny you say that, because I was looking at Missouri earlier today and just thinking that there was absolutely no carryover from one year to the next for them, going both ways. 2 years ago to last year to this year. And so I don't know that there is that situation to worry about, because in the NIL era, in the transfer portal era, each year can be so completely separated from the previous year and the next year. And so I don't know that you have to look at it in those terms of what carryover there is, what you take forward with you from one season to the next. But more importantly, I just think this bunch wants to come in here and play hard and play loose tomorrow and see if they can build some momentum into the next day, because as you all were just talking about, on paper at least, much more favorable matchup for South Carolina than what we thought it was going to look like, because I think most everyone assumed it was going to be Mississippi State, and that is, again, on paper, a bad matchup for South Carolina because of the physical nature of the way State plays. So, yeah, you feel like, okay, this is a little better matchup. Obviously what we did against those two opponents would back that up. So now you just look at tomorrow as, if it's a one-off, then just go do the things you can do well against this team, and see if you can, just stack it up and keep moving. Just, kind of look at the North Carolina State model from last year and see where you can take it.
Yeah, certainly. And I think one of the biggest X factors this team needs to have in order to make sure that they're able to win tomorrow and see how much basketball you can play this week is going to be Jamari Thomas. He's got 3 20-point games this year. 2 of them have come within the last month of basketball. How much of a factor you expect him to be in this game tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to look at it from that perspective, because the Arkansas game, he was not good. In fact, none of the guards were particularly good offensively. That was one of those strange events where you look up afterwards and go, wow, between Jamari and Jacoby and, Morris, I mean, there wasn't much going on in that game. The 3-ball was not a significant factor in that game at all. And I don't think you can hope to do it that way again. You want to have a little bit better contribution from the perimeter. And if you're Jamari, here's the key against this Arkansas team. You can't penetrate and think that without, playing off of 2 feet, without using some ball fakes, you can't have success against them because they're so long and they're so good at blocking shots. I mean, they've got so many guys out there, Big Z, Brazil. Just off the top of my head, they're fifth in the nation, I believe, in block shots per game. And so that's where he's gotten himself in some trouble in some games, is the coaches are telling him, hey, if you're going to try and penetrate, fine, but you can't just go up with it and think that you can hang in the air and get shots up. You've got to have ball fakes. You got to come to stops and play off 2 feet. And when he does that, he has success. When he doesn't do that, then it results in a lot of missed shots in the paint and a fair amount of turnovers. So I think for Jamari, the key is that on this particular matchup, be aware of what happened to you the last time you played them, and don't try and repeat that thinking the results will be different.
Good stuff as always, sir. Have a great call. Does Casey wear boots and a hat when he's like at the tournament, by the way?
He will wear boots, I'm sure, tomorrow to the game.
Okay.
Today, he's just hanging out in a ball cap and a sweatsuit, and was just trading, lawyer stories with Jay Billis.
Oh, okay.
And talking about where he lived in L.A. when he was a private eye straight out of law school.
Nice.
So,
all right.
as always, the judge entertains.
Yeah,
the
story.
Judge entertains.
There's a story. Good stuff. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you.
Okay, guys. Take care.
That's our good friend Derek Scott, the voice of the Gamecocks. You're listening to the Postgame Show.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
Cato's Power Equipment, ready to help all of us, whether we are amateur landscapers or professional landscapers, get the yards, the campuses, wherever it is, looking a whole lot better. Listen, look outside right now. Spring is basically here, okay? Yeah, we might get one more snap. Well, we probably won't. Even if we do, does it really matter? No. Things are going to start to grow. After yesterday's rains and the sunshine this week, time to get spring yard work done. And Cato's completely remodeled showroom and excellent staff ready to help everybody out. Again, whether you do it for yourself, whether you do it for a living, get into Cato's, see what they've got for you. If you've got equipment that you love, time to get it tuned up and serviced and ready for the spring and summer. Service department, get you in and out real quick. Brand new battery-powered equipment that is just as powerful as gas-powered engines, whether it's mowers, trimmers, edgers, blowers, you name it, they got it. 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, and always online at catospowerequipment.com.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Uh-huh.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Tackle your spring cleaning list with Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning Spring Sale. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game and get 3 rooms for $119 plus a free hallway. Book online at ZerustColumbia.com.
Hey, Daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
Hey, y'all, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Van City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I've been doing this show for decades and decades and decades.
With rapid-fire takes.
Learn how to stop it, learn how to run it, or at least make a good argument. I don't even like the play. I've never fought so hard to defend something I don't like.
Scorching debates.
You can beef about anything you want. Why are you pushing me?
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Just so you all know, this is no one-off. This is what we're going to get every single day.
Let's go, Jim!
Let's go!
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Talking some Carolina hoops. Thanks once again to our good friend Derek Scott, the voice of the Gamecocks, for joining us from Nashville. Elijah will be heading up that way as soon as we are done today. And we'll be live from Bridgestone and downtown Nashville all week. You're not just there for the Gamecocks run, however long it may last. I like to think it could last longer than a couple days.
The Ole Miss game, if they get past Arkansas, which I think is a real coin flip, the EBPI is at a deadlock 50% here for both teams.
What's the B? I haven't checked. Hang on.
If they play Ole Miss, that was a.
What do you think the BPI is?
My assumption is the BPI probably has Arkansas at 66.
Wow, you're good. 68.
Wow. Okay.
You're good. You're good. But I knew you were good. That's very good.
And I haven't even looked at it today. That was
Arkansas, a 3.5-point favorite.
Yes.
And the money line, not so bad. South Carolina, it's South Carolina plus 130 or Arkansas minus 150.
Yeah, look, man, it's a bad matchup for Arkansas. Like, the teams that give Arkansas a lot of trouble are the ones who can bully them inside a little bit. And two of the three bigs that play the most minutes for Arkansas between Ivisic, Brazil, and Adu, two of those guys get pushed around really easily, Brazil and Ivisic. And those guys become total non-factors when they have to play Nick Pringle and Colin Murray Boyles. Thankfully for South Carolina, those two produce a lot of your offense. There's going to be some changes. I think we're going to see more Jonas Adu in this game. And he probably starts. I mean, if I'm Calipari, I start him. Because one of the reasons why you lost here so bad is because you dug such a big hole and then you couldn't shoot your way out of it. That's not a good shooting team at all. It's like a sub 30% three-point shooting team. When they get behind, they got to start scoring in bunches. They sometimes have a hard time doing that if they can't get out in transition. And they couldn't get out in transition here either. So it's one of those things that you might have to change your starting lineup, Cal. You might have to consider making a little bit of a change at center.
As of today, Joe Lunardi has Arkansas off the bubble. He's got them as the last four buys. So they'd be into the full field. The last four in at this point. So these would be your first four teams, right? Oklahoma, Indiana, Xavier, and Ohio State. And Arkansas lost to a South Carolina team tomorrow, Elijah, perhaps coupled with one of these teams winning in their respective conference tournaments. Could shift Arkansas, or do you feel like Arkansas's resume is strong enough? Yeah, how important are these tournaments now as separators? That's going to be one of the big questions for me.
Yeah, the thing for Arkansas is, like, John Calipari can stand there and be like, well, we don't really care about the SEC tournament. Buddy, you should, because South Carolina and LSU are the two teams that are the only, quad or losses that you can get that are outside the quad one. And Arkansas really can't afford to have many more bad losses. Arkansas is 2-3 in quad two games. 2-3, sub 500. And you look at a lot of the teams that are on the bubble, like, yes, it's very annoying that North Carolina is still considered a bubble team when they're 1-11 in quad one games, but they have only one more loss outside of that first quadrant, right? And you look at Texas. Texas has 4 losses outside the first quadrant. But you got to be able to separate yourself a little bit. Oklahoma's got 2. You need to separate yourself from the teams in your own conference. Like, if Oklahoma beats Georgia, they might be in. And then they give Kentucky a game. They might be in. Texas beats Vanderbilt and then beats A&M. Texas might weasel their way in, right? Like the recency bias in the committee room is a real thing. If you're Arkansas, you can't be the only team out of that grouping with Texas and Oklahoma to lose.
Right.
You can't. Like, that's going to look really bad. Even if you beat Texas twice this year, the committee's going to look at how you're playing recently. And heaven forbid, like North Carolina make a run in the ACC tournament. Let's say they get to the semifinals, right? And they beat.
That wouldn't be shocking, would it?
Given their talent level, it wouldn't be.
Right.
But given the way they've applied it and have actually played this year, it would be a little shocking. But let's say North Carolina beats like Louisville or Clemson to get to the ACC title game, loses to Duke. That might be enough because the jersey says North Carolina that they get in. And Arkansas, no disrespect, doesn't have that type
No, not now.
cachet.
Not now they don't. And you know who does, too? Just looking at some of this, and I don't mean to weave in and out of too many different conference title discussions, but like San Diego State now has a little bit of that name cachet.
And here's the thing that Arkansas doesn't have in its favor, too.
And they're, by the way, last 4 buys at San Diego State.
Yes.
Yeah.
And San Diego State has some good wins outside their conference this year. But what Arkansas can't afford to happen, too, is have an upset in, say, the Mountain West Conference. Say Boise State wins the Mountain West tournament. Boise State's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, right now they are first 4 out with North Carolina, Texas, and Colorado State. Yeah.
That steals a bid. Arkansas, if they lose to South Carolina, opens them up to real bid thievery.
Yeah.
North Carolina, if they are to run, let's say they win the ACC tournament, that's stealing a bid. You look at a lot of the other conference tournaments going on right now, like in the Big West. Crazy enough, UC San Diego is good enough to where they might be able to qualify for an at-large because they do have such a good resume. They're 35 in net. They have a better net ranking than Arkansas does. And they're 2-1. Yes, it's only 2 quad 1 wins, but they have a winning record in those quad 1 wins. And they've won a lot of games, and they've proven themselves against decent competition.
I
might be willing to give them one over Arkansas.
I get
if Irvine wins it.
I get Cal's point. And again, I would equate it in some ways to how Coach Tanner used to feel about the SEC baseball tournament. I don't think it's quite the same because typically in most of those seasons, South Carolina was securely into the national tournament and was, in half of those years they were going to host here in Columbia. But I'm gonna go as close as I can to saying tomorrow for Arkansas is must win, certainly in the sense of keeping yourself in the full field without having to go to Dayton.
Oh, yeah. And you don't want to go to Dayton. That's the thing, too. You don't want to have to do that. That's even more travel. He complained about having to play a game in the SEC tournament and then turn around and have to play a couple days later after losing a conference title game. Buddy, you could lose this conference tournament game and then have to play on a Tuesday in Dayton. And then if you win, have to fly and do all of that and continue traveling. But the team you play in Dayton's on par with you. You don't want your season to end in Dayton.
Right.
Like, you're John Calipari. This is Arkansas. That's not the standard. Like, that's the thing right now, too. He spoke like a man who has a false sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
And Arkansas right now has a false sense of security, which if I'm an Arkansas fan, I don't like hearing that because you got to be able to impress some people this week. And there's nothing that will look worse on your resume than getting swept by the team that finished last in your conference. You're not getting the benefit of the doubt if you get swept by the last team in your conference.
By the way, I think all the games in Dayton should be like that 11-12 seed line, not the automatic 16s.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah.
I hate that. Those teams earned their way into...
they won a conference championship.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to be in.
If you had to sweat it out on Selection Sunday, you have to sweat it out in Dayton.
Yeah.
That should be the rule.
I agree. And I wish they would do that. In fact, you know what? If you want to, quote, expand this tournament, do nothing but that for all these Power 4 schools that want to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Have a little, 16-school mini tournament in Dayton, and then let 4 of them move on into the final full field or something like that. There's an expansion.
I guess you'd expand the calendar to an extra week.
Yeah.
And the whole week after Selection Sunday, those games.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you start.
And you still start on Thursday, so you're just having to really bunch them in. Lots more to do as the post-game show continues.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam, you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute. This is the beauty of March Madness. The 12th-seeded Delaware men could win the CAA auto bid tonight. Their last victim was top-seeded Towson, which brings me back to a question I've had the last few years. Should these one-bid leagues give their spots in the big dance to the regular season champs? Should we reward the team that wins the marathon, not the sprint? I'm Andrew Bogish.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stopped, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You look amazing. What have you been doing?
You've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can help provide you with semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text COMMON to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie to see if you're eligible. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text COMMON to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text COMMON to 200-300. COMMON to 200-300.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/news. That's ethos.com/news.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/radio. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Postgame show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Eleven minutes in front of 4 o'clock here on this Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you. Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News joining us inside of a half hour's time. Again, Lulu thinks she's talking Carolina women's basketball, but she's talking Mozzarella Gate.
Yeah, I think it's an appropriate name for this. I don't think she ever, I joked with her on Sunday that I don't think you could ever in your life envision you just snacking on mozzarella sticks becoming a national story.
No. But again, she made awful announcing. And who else did you say?
The New York Post.
The Post, yeah. Wow.
Actually reported on it. And also, Kim Mulkey's reputation is such to where if you make even a comment about somebody eating in a press conference.
Now, did the Post...
Like, they're going to run with that.
Did the Post put Lulu's name and like tweet and everything in there too? Because
they just refer to her as a reporter.
Oh, okay. Because awful announcing like put her... like her tweet and her response.
Because they have some journalistic integrity. Yeah. I appreciate that.
That's nice.
I love awful announcing. Great Twitter follow, man.
No, they're good. Yeah, that's one of the better sites. Ross Dellinger reporting that today the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, was holding a hearing. I don't think much this on NIL. Not much really happened today, but I thought it was unfortunate that Mr. Jordan said, quote, "It's far from uncompensated labor. This idea of uncompensated labor is just false." I don't think anybody's been saying that for a long, long time, sir. That's not the issue. I actually responded to this tweet saying the issue is a truly legal way to change the system where both sides have a say in the structure. It seems that some still want a one-sided approach that leaves students out. And I said that will fail just like before. It's going to. If we don't get to some form of collective bargaining, and it may not be true collective bargaining if these young men and women are not deemed employees. But if you say there's a system, you can join it or not, and someone challenges it, you're going to go through these processes again. And I don't anticipate a form of antitrust exemption coming without student athletes having a voice in what these agreements look like. I just don't. The margins in Washington are so thin that it won't take. But on either side, let's I know right now that the Democrats are in the minority in both houses. But again, the margins are so thin. What if they had a bill that gained a little bit of traction? It only takes a couple of Republicans to vote with them, and vice versa, on both sides. And certainly should a senator on either side, just once it gets over there, because let's face it, the House can do whatever the hell it wants. The Senate is often going to change things. Somebody can just filibuster. I mean, they've got to find a way. And this is we were talking with Russell Fry, South Carolina's 7th District Congressman, on Friday. If you didn't get to hear that, he joined us the other day, and it's on our podcast page and on the YouTube page. But I asked him then, like, hey, what can you do for collective bargaining? And look, again, it may not be what we have in professional sports. And it may be that a lot, because, you can just pick and choose. Well, I don't want to be an employee, says student X. Okay, but some do. Or at least some want some form of protection. But if the NCAA's membership really believes this time around it's going to go to Congress hat in hand and say, hey, let us basically have the same power we used to, but we promise that will like change the structure, I don't have a lot of hope for that.
No, I don't have a lot of hope for this entire process as it is. I think this is going to be the same dog chasing cars in a parking lot for hours on end, and we're going to get no results. I mean, that's the interests at hand cannot be more different between the schools, the NCAA, and the athletes.
You've got to find some way. You do, but again, I think it's unfortunate that we would have any member of any party. Again, I don't care about the political party right now. I want this to. I don't want to talk about this anymore in my job. I don't talk about politics. Right. I know what they are. I've worked in it. I got friends that work in it. I'm very knowledgeable in it, but I don't do it for a living. But to have someone in this position of leadership say this idea of uncompensated labor is just false, nobody's saying that anymore. Nobody's saying that they're not compensated. I don't know why to me, that's a deflection from the story and issue at hand.
It is.
And we don't need to be doing that. Let's get to the bottom of it and move on so that we can actually worry about what Congress needs to worry about. Because really, in my opinion,
this is a waste of time.
This ain't it.
This is a waste of their time. Yeah.
And yet, here we are. So, let's see. Hour 2 of the postgame show coming at you.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Integrated Media is Columbia's leader in home theater technology, home security technology. Listen, something as simple, and I'm dead serious about this. Maybe you were at a big box store recently and you bought the system to put in a video doorbell. There are different brands of those, so I won't say brand names. And then you're like, oh, man, I don't know if I should be doing this. I don't know what to do. Call Integrated Media. You have the equipment. They have the capability to come put it in for you. They'll be happy to. You don't have to buy it from them, right? But when you do buy things from them, they're the same exact cost as big box stores or wherever you buy your equipment. Televisions, speakers, Blu-ray player, right? Roku box, Apple TV box, you name it, they got it. The best part is they help you get it done right once. 803-948-8327 for all your home theater needs and so much more. Work with Integrated Media.
Do you have gold you don't need? Are you looking to get cash? At Traditions Fine Jewelers, it only takes a few minutes for us to check, but you'll be amazed at what cash it brings. Did you know if you had gold the size and weight of a quarter, you would generate $125 in 10 karat or $175 in 14 karat? Want to trade your gold? That same quarter would generate $204 in 10 karat or $286 in 14 karat. Traditions Fine Jewelers, 5134 Sunset Boulevard in Lexington or at the Village at Sand Hills. Traditions Fine Jewelers, always giving you more for your gold.
Offers not in conjunction, plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details.
We're into week 2 of JT's Jeep Ram grand opening on Greystone. And you can win $10,000 just for stopping by. Hundreds of new Jeeps and Rams to choose from. Get up to $12,000 in factory rebates and up to 20% more for your trade. Is your credit less than grand? JT loves to say you're approved. And you could win $10,000. Highway 378 Lexington or the all-new JT's Jeep Ram on Greystone. Ram Truck Month.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/radio. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
They say perfection is a journey, and at Carolina Stone Craftsman, that journey leads us to just outside Columbia in Chapin. Our marble, our granite, our quartz, they're sculpted with the highest craftsmanship, honed with family values, and delivered with professional results. Explore the craftsmanship of each slab, see all our new showroom has to offer, and experience our custom hardscapes. Crafted to perfection, experience Carolina Stone Craftsman's workmanship. Take us for granted. Your journey to perfection starts with us. Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell.
Who the are you, man?
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
4 o'clock on this Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back in. It's the second hour of the post-game show. Along with Elijah Campbell, I'm Jay Phillips. Appreciate you being with us. Thanks once again to the voice of the Gamecocks, Derek Scott, for joining Elijah and me last hour. He is up in Nashville tomorrow on the Gamecock Radio Network and certainly here on 107.5 The Game in downtown Columbia. Gamecocks and the Arkansas Razorbacks. 12:30 airtime. Tip will be a little past 1. Officially, they say 1 o'clock, but it's not going to be 1 o'clock.
Yeah, those are rare.
But it'll be like 1:05.
Those first games of the day are the most on-time games of the day.
Yeah.
Because they'll that's why, the game after that, Texas and Vanderbilt says, if you look at the brackets, it's 25 minutes after game 1.
Yeah.
You can't promise when that.
Well, and it says some of them say 3:30, and I'm like, well, it's not going to be 3:30 either.
Nope.
Just go ahead and say 25 minutes after game 1.
Yep.
Just say that, and then we're all fine with it.
Especially if we do the whole 2.
Remember when they used to do it for 2 hours? I remember a few years back they had them at 2. I was like, bro.
No.
Why you?
They do that now on TV, and none of the games start on time.
It's not going to happen.
None of them. Well, the games start on time, but you have to watch the first 10 minutes of the game. Minutes, not like 10 minutes of real time. You're watching like the first half of the first half on ESPN News.
Drake in Northern Illinois on ESPN News.
Someone made a really funny joke the other day where it was like, we should start calling ESPN News ESPN Start, because if you want to watch the start of your game, that's where you're going to start watching it, is on ESPN News, which doesn't really do.
Can I ask you a question? Does ESPN News still run like 24 hours of what is Sports Center? They just have whatever on now? I don't even.
Yep, it's just random programming.
Just stuff. That's what I figured.
That used to be awesome. Like just having
it was not bad.
News thing was really, really really on ESPN News for the long time. They had the really cool scoreboard at the bottom of it where it gave you the scores, and it would give you like more in-depth stats
live
than like the ticker would.
Yeah.
That used to be awesome, man. I remember used to watching that on like college football Saturday nights if there's a game that I was really invested in that wasn't on TV, because not all games were on TV. I could keep up with it by seeing it on the ticker down low and keep up with it a little bit. It'd tell you who had the ball for football games, too. Oh, it was great.
I just think
that was great.
By and large, maybe only like 5,000 people at a time were watching it.
Right.
So at some point it matters.
But without that, we would never have gotten Stephen A. Smith calling Kwame Brown a bona fide scrub.
Huh.
One of the greatest TV rants on how bad a player is of all time.
That was the anniversary of that, like not too long ago, right?
Yeah. Because that was because you're talking about the Pau Gasol trade.
Yeah.
From Memphis to Los Angeles, a Gasol brother swap, but Kwame Brown I think was part of that, and poor Kwame Brown, man, caught the stray to end all strays in that television segment. Wouldn't have it without ESPN News.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a good point. It's a good point. Anyway, tomorrow, just past 1, and Elijah will be up there, and so our program will probably come on air around this time, maybe a little earlier. I don't know. It just depends.
Yeah.
And maybe they go like quad overtime.
50-50 game. It could. It very well could.
I'd rather that not happen. Once I get to work, I'd rather start working.
And not have to wait around.
Yeah. That's just me, though. That's just me. I don't want to make this about me because it's not about me. It's more about you. You'll be there.
Yes.
You'll be there. So looking forward to that. Lulu Kesson will join us coming up just a bit, talking Carolina women's basketball. And, yes, we will have a little fun with Lulu on the extracurricular activity that she didn't even know was going to become a thing.
Mozzarella Gate.
That's right. That's right. In the meantime, do you want to ask me about this or do I want to ask you about this? Because I think we're both a little
eager to get to it. So we feel very strongly about the Marshmallow of the Year award, which seemingly Matt Rule was running away with. This is one of those, like if you're someone like my brother who is a big time cinephile. That guy, his movie collection, he still buys the Blu-ray collections of different things, and he's got a whole room in his house devoted to movies.
Right.
He will watch them every year, and he has a blog where he will rank movies that he sees, and he'll do Oscar predictions and stuff. It's he might have watched this movie in the summer and was like, wow, this is the best movie I've ever seen. There's no way this doesn't win Best Picture. And then one comes out right at the last minute, and it's like, uh-oh. We're going to have some drama on Oscar night. Matt Rule was that movie that he saw in the summer.
Yeah. Holding steady. And then
boom. Mark Stoops, out of nowhere, is the movie that came out in the fall. And everybody's talking about it. And now we're about to announce the award on Oscar night. And nobody in that building knows who's going to win it.
Yeah, if y'all haven't heard today, Kentucky head coach Mark Stoops was on Kentucky Sports Radio, which is a statewide network up there. Very popular and very good. And went over a host of things as they get ready for spring ball. But one of the questions and topics that came up was the notion of the Southeastern Conference going to 9 league games. And we all know that perhaps the loudest voice against it over the last year or two was Kentucky's. Mm-hmm. They do not want a 9th conference game. I have told y'all before, too, Kentucky's – the last time Kentucky played 2 out-of-conference, non-con Power 4 teams in the same season was 2004. And Louisville was one of them, obviously, and the other was Indiana. Now, I realize you might say, today, if you're young, you're like, well, Jay, Indiana. But
if you started watching college football last year.
Yeah. But trust me, in 2004, playing Indiana in football was not a daunting task.
A soft schedule.
And that's the last time that Kentucky has had 2 power conference non-cons in the same season. So today he was asked if he would like to keep Louisville on the schedule if the Southeastern Conference goes to a 9th game. And he said, yeah, but it's going to be tough. And at that point, he just lost me. No, it's not. It's not tough.
Nope.
Again, in fact, here's how untough it is. Schedule the game, A, right? Schedule the game.
Yep.
B, play the game. How's that tough? Schedule the game. So
step 1.
Time, date, venue, right? B, show up to said venue on said date at the appropriate time. Play the game.
That's not hard.
So look, they're afraid to lose. And that to me, I think that's why there's so much disrespect of Kentucky football around the league, despite the fact that Stoops has, in all seriousness, elevated that program from what it had been, which was basically a school that didn't really care about football for obvious reasons, to be fair. We know what they do in hoops. And he has. He's had a couple of 10-win seasons. He's had some nice upsets here and there. I get all that. I do. I respect that. But I don't respect the fact, like I said, they don't play, and their typical non-con schedule is weak on purpose. Mm-hmm. They want to win the game. They want to go to a bowl, and now they think, well, hey, if we want to go to the playoff, I so sincerely hope that enough voices are heard that when we do have a new iteration of the playoff beginning in 2026, again, not for this coming season, but for 26 and beyond, that scheduling big games will not be harmful. Because that's what people want to see. That's what television wants to pay for. That's what fans want to buy tickets for. That's what we want to watch, especially as neutral fans on television. Now, I get that sometimes for your own school, you might feel a certain way. Okay, I get that. But, again, even if there's some Super League 20 years from now, someone's going to finish last. And none of these power schools want to be last. But everybody needs to play harder games. We need to get used to the potential of a 3, maybe even 1 year, 4-loss college national champion, which I know is difficult for a lot of people. And this is also the time when I want to remind anybody, like for Carolina Clemson. You know, we had Shane on a couple of weeks ago, and Shane was like, hey, if everybody's doing it, bring it. Like, next year, Carolina has Virginia Tech and Clemson. This coming season, that is. In 26, Carolina has Miami and Clemson.
Big boy schedules.
Bring it, Shane said. Bring it. And I'm so here for that. And I can't imagine, as a lifelong resident of the state of South Carolina, I can't imagine a head coach at South Carolina or Clemson ever saying that should there be alterations to the schedule within the conference, since they're not in the same conference, that they would ever say, I want to play it. I really do. But I don't know if we can. That coach would get run out of town
in a heartbeat.
And I mean, I know a guy like me. If anybody ever said that, I'm on this microphone right now. I'm blasting them, but that's not going to happen. And it's also a reminder. You might say, "Well, Jay, they have to play." They don't. There is no law. I know there's a myth that there's a law on the books in the state of South Carolina that mandates a Carolina Clemson football game. There is no law, but you don't need a law because Carolina Clemson's going to get play. The only time it didn't was the COVID year, and I still wanted them to. Mm-hmm. And the conferences basically just wouldn't allow it. And so, and that sucked.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I mean, the only thing worse than Carolina not playing Georgia last year or this coming season is that you didn't get to play Clemson in 2020. I get why you didn't. Not here to rehash that, but that sucked. That was awful.
Probably felt like an incomplete season.
It was just awful. It seriously should not have happened, but it did. Whatever. I'm not here to do any of the other, but for Mark Stoops, it's going to be tough. No, it is not going to be tough.
It's tough if you're a weenie.
Yeah, you're telling your fan base, well, we need and imagine. I asked you this. Imagine what it must feel like to be afraid of playing Louisville in football.
Makes no sense.
And I'm not trying to diss game. Louisville, okay? I'm not dissing.
It's a winnable game. That's the thing. Imagine being scared of a winnable game.
Yeah.
It's not like you are playing a team that has won 5 national championships in the last 7 years. And it's not like, let's just pretend Georgia's in the ACC and they had a scheduling agreement forever with Georgia. It's not like you're having to play Georgia.
Right.
Or Alabama, right? It's Louisville.
Yeah. And again, South Carolina fans who have had their downs under Will Muschamp while Clemson was on the most amazing rise in their school's history, you still want to go play?
Mm-hmm. The community still wants you to play.
You play the game, man.
Because that's what college football is all about.
Yes,
we can talk about expansion of the playoff. We can talk about the changes in the sport, but ultimately what the sport still boils down to in terms of what makes it special are those interstate rivalries. It's being able to call yourself state champs, after winning a game like that. That is what's so important to a lot of these seasons because only one team wins the title, and only now 12 teams get to participate in the playoff. Yeah. Not everybody gets a happy ending to the season. Not everybody gets a highlight, but you get a chance to when you play the team that your fan base hates the most and that has cultural significance within your state. There is some cultural significance within the state of Kentucky and Louisville. More so in basketball, sure, right. Get it, but at the same time, there is cultural significance. You take away the seasoning as to what makes this food of college football so delicious every year. And you do it for what? Because you're scared?
It's bad look for Mark Stoops. It's, yes, I want to play the game. Period.
Has Mark Stoops surpassed Matt Rule now as the marshmallow of the year for you?
That's tight, man.
I did not think this race would be so tight.
A tight race.
In March, but Mark Stoops is making a really good push right now. He's making a hell of a push.
Lulu Keston on the other side of the break, getting into Carolina women's basketball, the run through Greenville, and what to expect when the bids come out. Lulu joins us when the postgame show returns.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. It's that time again. Break out your clubs for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. This year in partnership with the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Join us on Friday, March 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Call Charwood today to sign up and secure your foursome at 803-755-2000. We'll have the Par 5 Golf Club Cannon and also be giving away a pair of baseball and football season tickets to 2 lucky winners. Plus, one of our special guests is Basketball Hall of Famer and former Gamecock great Alex English. So don't miss out. Call Charwood today at 803-755-2000 to register. 107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
New set of wheels in your immediate future or maybe a little more distant future? Well, check out the great rates at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. Listen, you can go shopping all across the Midlands for your next car, whether it's something brand new or something a little bit older. They offer the same low rates on new to 2021 models at Palmetto Citizens, plus great options for older vehicles as well. Might be that right option for the younger driver in your life. Or maybe you want something, later on to go hunting. You can beat up all around the country. Whatever it is you want to do, they can finance over 100% of the retail or purchase price. Plus, Palmetto Citizens offers additional coverage and insurance options that dealerships simply cannot beat. So again, shop all across the Midlands. Find that next car that's right for you. Then check out any of the 14 convenient Midlands locations of Palmetto Citizens. Apply for a loan today, or you can do it online at palmettocitizens.org. My wife and I are members. We love the service we get. We think you will too. Check them out. It's Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.7 million lottery-funded scholarships, such as Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships, have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit SCEducationLottery.com/educationwins for more information.
Do you have gold you don't need? Are you looking to get cash? At Traditions Fine Jewelers, it only takes a few minutes for us to check, but you'll be amazed at what cash it brings. Did you know if you had gold the size and weight of a quarter, you would generate $125 in 10 carat or $175 in 14 karat. Want to trade your gold? That same quarter would generate $204 in 10 karat or $286 in 14 karat. Traditions Fine Jewelers, 5134 Sunset Boulevard in Lexington or at the Village at Sand Hills. Traditions Fine Jewelers, always giving you more for your gold.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Bothered by back, neck, shoulder, or joint pain? Get back in the game with the Joint Chiropractic. No appointment is necessary and no need to worry about insurance. The new patient special includes a consultation, exam, and chiropractic adjustment for just $29. FSA and HSA approved. At the Joint Chiropractic, you don't have to feel bad to feel better. Walk in today without an appointment. Clinics are conveniently located in Forest Acres, Yonkers, Harbison, Killian, and Lexington. Online, thejoint.com.
Offers not in conjunction plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details.
We're into week 2 of JT's Jeep Ram grand opening on Greystone, and you can win $10,000 just for stopping by. Hundreds of new Jeeps and Rams to choose from. Get up to $12,000 in factory rebates and up to 20% more for your trade. Is your credit less than grand? JT loves to say you're approved, and you could win $10,000. Highway 378 Lexington or the all-new JT's Jeep Ram on Greystone. Ram Truck Month.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Postgame show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Eat it over there, or are they just eating?
We'll take questions.
Welcome back into the postgame show on this Tuesday. Alongside Elijah Campbell, I'm Jay Phillips. And again, our friend Lulu Kesson on the Gamecock beat for the Greenville News believes that she is here to talk about South Carolina women's basketball, both the run through Greenville and what to expect in the NCAAs. But Lulu, now that you're here, I suppose you realize that this being two guys talking to you on Sports Talk Radio, this is now nothing but you eating mozzarella sticks and being called out by a national champion coach. Yeah, just doing your job, and then that came along. How you doing?
Hey guys, how are you doing? The clip of that just absolutely killed me. I haven't really heard it cut up like that, especially without the video. But you know, I'm recovering from my weekend of fame where a lot of people had very mixed opinions about the mozzarella gate, but in all seriousness, I'm good and happy to be talking with you both.
Yeah, well, you crushed it on Awful Announcing, who had had your back fully. So that's a thing, which is good. I suppose you never thought you'd make Awful Announcing for eating cheese sticks
as a mozzarella martyr.
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing is that someone from Awful Announcing reached out to interview me in about October, I want to say, which was really sweet and a very cool moment, just kind of profiling my work on the beat. And then to have that just 360 where they're talking about me eating mozzarella sticks is absolutely something I never thought would happen. But I do appreciate how they explained the situation. I thought it was very even. It was just kind of retelling like what actually happened, whereas I saw the New York Post definitely had a dramatic headline about the situation that I wasn't expecting. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, very crazy to think that me eating mozzarella sticks, blew up into what it did.
First time for everything for the New York Post to have an overly dramatic headline.
Stunner.
If you don't know, real quick, Lulu was seriously, she was off the media rooms, and many of you, it's kind of inside baseball here, especially at tournament settings. You'll have a press conference set up in the media room, and then there's a work room, and there's media food too, because a lot of folks like Lulu or what Elijah's getting ready to do, you don't just stay for a game. You're typically there for an entire day's worth of the sport, whatever the sport may be. And so Lulu was not an active part of Kim Mulkey's press conference. She was adjacent, and Kim could see through a room and into the other side and decided to say, what are they doing over there? Like, and why Kim thought people would just be in the media room eating is beyond me anyway. But enough of that. Glad you made it through, and you got a good place. We're all on your side. Let's put it that way, Lulu. Let's go back to this weekend. South Carolina dominant in all three games, and yet, especially that Vanderbilt game, they were pushed a little bit, maybe because of some of their own doing. If all you see is the final scores, everybody feels real good about it. But what more might Carolina have learned about itself as they head into the tournament that matters most?
I think the Vanderbilt game was honestly great for South Carolina, especially when Vanderbilt had that run, because South Carolina, if I remember correctly, was shooting like 67% in the first half. obviously a lot to live up to in the third and fourth quarter. And I definitely think a lot of it was self-inflicted errors. I think I mentioned that with you guys before, like a lot to learn from, but just that type of game felt very March to me. It felt very, NCAA tournament. So I think that they learned sort of how to weather that storm, especially how they're playing lately, which I would argue is better and different than how they started February. I think the Texas win, they just learned a lot about chemistry. Obviously, Bree Hall's defense was a huge point of that game and shutting down Madison Booker, but I wouldn't say South Carolina's offense has been the best this season, but their offense definitely blew Texas out of the water, and I just felt like there was a lot of really great chemistry and flow and momentum that hopefully they'll learn on and can kind of continue into the next tournament.
And that's kind of where I wanted to lead you with this question about Bree Hall, because, I think the story of that game was Bree Hall's defense on Madison Booker and then the team's defense as a whole. I think the broadcast mentioned that there were the first 11 shots Texas took were all contested. And Bree Hall has really has had Madison Booker's number because she's the primary defender on her. And then the 3 games, Madison Booker's shooting 25% from the field. When you got to talk to Bree Hall this weekend about her defense, what's kind of the things that really stood out to you the most in terms of how she just prepares for matchups like this?
Yeah, so I talked to Bree's parents after the game, and Bree texted her parents like first thing Sunday morning and was like, "I'm locking her down." Obviously, like it's kind of been out there now. Like Booker had said, "You can't beep and guard me" in Austin that game, and Bree took that personally, but she also kind of, as she said to me, like, I have to take that personally and use it as my motivation. So I think Bree understands that trash talk is an element of basketball, and I'm sure people in South Carolina do their fair share of it. But how Bree kind of phrased it was like, I can't let that attitude happen again. That was a tone that set kind of the loss in Austin, and a lot of, like you said, like, yes, Madison Booker ended up having 20 points in the loss for South Carolina, but Bree still, a lot of those were on the foul line. Like Bree's had Booker's number, and I think having that performance from a senior, from a leader, is just so key, especially so late in the season.
Talking to Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News, Gamecocks await their tournament decision on Sunday. Certainly will be a 1 seed. Certainly will be hosting here in Columbia the first couple of rounds. We'll see against whom. Again, coming up on Sunday night. Let's turn our attention to Chloe Kitts, who's really elevated her game of late. What more have you been learning from her and from her teammates about the real cog in the machine that she's become?
Yeah, I actually loved learning a lot about the mental side of Chloe Kitts this weekend, because I felt like, and this is entirely valid, but a lot of the conversation this year was around her, physical strength. There are storylines about her staying in the gym late, getting extra, gym reps with Molly Benetti on game days. But I sort of was like, Chloe, walk me through the mental side of kind of this journey where you started off, averaging around like 14 points in the first couple games, and then sort of once conference play started, or at least through December, like hit a little bit of a lull. And she said, people don't understand how much of basketball is mental. It's a mental toll. It's mental strength. I've had to just remind myself one game at a time, one day at a time. And Tessa Johnson, one of Chloe's best friends on the team, was sort of like, people don't realize how much she's gone through just chugging away. Yes, it's the it's the physical dedication to being in the gym, but it also takes a lot on your mind. And she's kind of been able to leave every game in the past and just build on the good and learn from the bad. And I thought Chloe did exactly that this weekend, and it was really great to see her shine, obviously, stats-wise.
And then moving into the NCAA tournament, too, when I look at everybody's resumes, I just don't see one that has the collection of wins and losses the way South Carolina does. I expect them to be the number 1 overall seed. I think they should be the number 1 overall seed. But when we get into a tournament like this, sometimes bad matchups can cause a team's season to end a little prematurely. When you look at the national scope, what's still the toughest matchup that South Carolina can draw?
So first, Elijah, I'll give you a shout out because you actually were speaking a lot of great stats and facts into the group chat the other day, which was very helpful in my research. But to directly answer your question, Notre Dame, I think, has proven to be mentally weak, especially as of late. I think a USC, how I look at it is I think Juju is like no other, and I think she would pose a huge challenge for South Carolina. That said, South Carolina has historically done well against teams this year that have kind of that main one star. Don't get me wrong, I know comparing Izzy Higginbottom to Juju Watkins is not the same, but it's like South Carolina, Michaela Blake's, like they've held these dominant scorers to season lows. So that type of matchup doesn't scare me. I do think that South Carolina would beat UConn or UCLA if they played again. That said, I think a team like UCLA would be the toughest team just because they pose so much of a challenge both in and out of the paint, which is kind of where South Carolina overall has struggled. That's sort of been the common theme the last couple of, or I guess in kind of the losses or times that they've struggled.
You anticipate Dawn trying to lobby for anything, or has the work and the resume spoken for itself at this point?
She did say after that, the strength of schedule, she believes South Carolina should be the number one overall seed. And I get it. It's really difficult. I mean, hey, I grew up in the Northeast. Like, I know the Big East does not compare right now to what the SEC does. So I do understand her argument entirely that strength of schedule really matters. And we won't talk to Dawn before Sunday, but in the opportunities that she's had over the weekend, she was very vocal that she believes South Carolina is the number one overall seed.
Dawn will have Carolina calls tonight, so she may say something more on that. We'll find out. Good stuff as always. And again, glad you made it through Mozzarella Gate unscathed. You did well.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
You bet.
It was funny. Live and you learn. But thank you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Man, do it again.
Gotta offer her one next time.
Next time, I'll just be getting a whole big basket of them, Lulu. You'll be fine. Trust me on that one. That's Lulu
I'll
Kessin.
bring her if. Yeah.
Thanks, Lulu. Appreciate you. That's Lulu Kessin of the Greenville News. LULU, Lulu Kessin, Kessin, to follow along on Twitter. This is the Postgame Show.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network, powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Spring is here, and Corley Pool Solutions is making pools great again. That's right. Call today and line up your maintenance for the spring and summer. 803-445-8109. With flat rate pricing, it is more affordable for you to use Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions than to try and maintain the pool yourself. Call today and learn more. 803-445-8109. Call Corley Pool Solutions. Line up your spring and summer maintenance today.
Don't miss Aaron's 70th anniversary celebration all March long with 7 amazing deals, each under $70 a month, like a beautiful Woodhaven Shea sofa or a powerful HP laptop. Bring them home today, then pay your way over time with no long-term commitment. Plus, one penny gets you started on name brand appliances, electronics, and furniture. Explore the deals at Aaron's.com or your local Aaron's store. Don't wait. Aaron's anniversary sale ends March 31st.
Approval not guaranteed. Restrictions apply. See store for details. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Honey!
What's wrong? I thought you already left for work.
The garage door is broken. It won't open and I can't get my car out. I can't miss this meeting today. Everyone is coming in for it.
Relax. I'm texting OGD right now.
What is OGD?
OGD, Overhead Garage Door. They're the garage door experts in Columbia. Take my car in the driveway and OGD will handle the garage. They have same-day service and they'll get the garage door fixed today. Fast and easy.
Wait, with just one text you can get our garage door fixed same day by OGD?
Yes. OGD will get it done, no problem. Now, you need to get to work and let OGD worry about the garage door.
Garage door broken, stuck, slow, or squeaky? Text OGD, the only name you need for your garage door. Text TIGHT to 200-300 right now. Text right now and get an exclusive link to special limited time savings. Don't wait. Text the word TIGHT to 200-300 now. Text TIGHT to 200-300.
Offers not in conjunction plus tax, tags, and title. Call 888-214-1167 for details.
It's the grand opening of our brand new JT's Kia on Greystone Boulevard. And we're giving giving away $10,000 in cash. Just come in and register at either JT's Kia location. JT makes it easy. No payments for 6 months. Get up to 20% more for your trade, and you could win $10,000. Our grand opening celebration is going on now at JT's Kia. Killian Road at I-77 or the all-new JT's Kia Greystone.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Kickstart your day at 9 a.m. with your Carolina Pick-Me-Up. Sponsored by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you're injured, call 09s today.
Get George Sink Law Firm on the line. Call 999-9999.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. And now, WIS-TV traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
From the WIS Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. The few accidents to get to you that are causing some issues on the roadways, starting with one on Brookfield Road at Decker Boulevard, Green Lawn Drive at Garner's Ferry Road, Hampton Street near Sumter Street, Highway 1 at Augusta Road at Sparkleberry Lane, and lastly, one on US 176 at Broad River Road between Sunset Drive and Greystone Boulevard.
You're talking about, sponsored by Love Chevrolet on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. Thanks to Lulu Kesson for joining us, talking a little Carolina women's hoops, and we'll get back into some of that for you. But I do have some very important breaking news we found out about while we were talking to Lulu. Tiger Woods has announced that he has a ruptured Achilles. I will read you his full statement. This just came down a little bit ago. As I began to ramp up my own training and practice at home, I felt a sharp pain in my left Achilles, which was deemed to be ruptured. This morning, Dr. Charlton Stucken of Hospital for Special Surgery in West Palm Beach performed a minimally invasive Achilles tendon repair for a ruptured tendon. The surgery went smoothly, and we expect a full recovery, added Dr. Stucken. I am back home now and plan to focus on my recovery and rehab. Thank you for all the support. That is from Tiger Woods just a little while ago, and you certainly know that ramping up of training and practice is primarily for the Masters next month. And even if it's minimally invasive, Tiger's not going to be playing in the Masters. Now, it doesn't say, I don't want to say, look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an orthopedist. I'm not, I can't imagine that you just had surgery for a ruptured Achilles tendon and you'll be back and ready to go in a couple of weeks. So I think this is going to be a while. It's unfortunate. We know what he means to the game. We know what Augusta means to him. We know how much fans just continue to flock, no matter what he's shooting or how he's playing, to be just around him and part of what he does. So this is unfortunate. Maybe as a former, obviously, lots of championships at Augusta, will he be in a position to at least show up? Will he not want to do that? These are all these unanswered questions at this point in time. But strictly speaking, Elijah, for the golf fan that I am, this blows. And I feel badly, first for him, certainly, but for golf in general.
That's the thing about Tiger Woods is when he is hurt and he's not available, it's bad for the sport.
Yeah.
Because the sport's a lot better with Tiger Woods.
It is.
Right. Like he's that big of a draw, and he's that much of a beloved athlete to where anytime he plays, again, like you mentioned, even when he's not shooting very well, and when he's been bad, which has been more often than not, unfortunately, over the last decade and a half, he is the name in the sport. I don't foresee, another player having their own video game to be produced on a yearly basis. Like he's that big of a draw.
And obviously one of the most there are so many special things about the Masters and how unique it is, but one of those special things is the lifetime exemption for former champions. And look, sometimes we see guys that probably shouldn't be out there playing very much, and then we see guys like Bernhard Langer, who just continues to go out and shoot like mid-70s, and Bernhard's not going to win this thing per se. But, Tiger wants to be that, I think. How long Jack played, how long Arnie played, how long Gary Player really took it seriously when he played. Freddie Couples continues to.
Doesn't Gary Player still go?
Yeah.
I don't know if he participates in the event
I don't think
anymore,
Player is not in the tournament anymore, but he's more ceremonial now. But he played, competitively as long as he could. And again, Langer is doing the same thing, and a host of other guys that do it. But that Tiger wants to be part of that if he can. And look, Tiger turns 50 this year. Champions Tour is probably something that is going to really benefit. But he's just had so many things, and here's another one, and. The car accident, unfortunately that wasn't a golf thing. I don't know how much of this is a golf thing or just a wear and tear thing, just a collective whatever. And sometimes people just have something where I've talked to people that have had Achilles injuries, and their doctors basically say, hey, look, in some people, like you don't know it's happening. Mm-hmm. And then when that final thread literally snaps, that's it. And it could have been that for him.
Yeah, it very well could have. I would say most Achilles injuries are slow burns that eventually turn into tears.
That's what he said. He was otherwise okay, and then something just happened. Is basically what it sounds like. So again, just this blows. That's all. It
sucks for the sport.
Yeah, but I do hope next year. Champions Tour is fun, and honestly, with the competitive level of some of those guys these days, it's actually it's pretty good golf. I'm not going to tell you it's PGA level golf because it's not. But like when I was younger, I didn't give two rips about the Senior Tour because I knew what it was. It was a retirement tour and a way to sell a few tickets and like, oh hey, there's whomever, let's go see Hale Irwin play, or something. It's like, well, Hale's not 35 anymore.
Right.
A
lot different now.
But I think today, if you start to watch, you're like, dang, Ernie Els is out there, and there's a whole bunch of dudes, and it's pretty competitive golf, and they're still competitors, which is great. I think again, in the initial iterations of something like the Seniors Tour, again now Champions Tour. It was almost like you were going out with your buddies, and it's not something that I would want to watch. But when Tiger hits the Champions Tour, should he choose to, and I think he probably will for some tournaments, just watch. The numbers will explode. I just hope he's capable of being able to get out there and do it, man. That's the big thing. And just go get right.
And if you want to look at, golf's long-term future in terms of star power, it does help that he has a son who is pretty good himself. Yeah. That I think we'll be seeing on the PGA Tour pretty soon. He's grown up.
We talk about Bronny, and I remember when Michael Jordan's kid was doing, and look, there are certain sons or daughters that are very good. I think about I know she plays a different sport, but like Dennis Rodman's daughter has now become one of America's best soccer players and things like that. But if we thought, I don't know, I suppose Charlie Woods will be looked at the same way Marcus Jordan and Bronny James are looked at. Like, you're not your dad. And right. I don't know how good Charlie's going to be. He's pretty good. And Marcus Jordan played at UCF. And Bronny, I still wish Bronny had just stayed at Southern Cal. Mm-hmm. To have a full year. Because, again, it's not Bronny's fault that Bronny had a heart thing.
Right.
Right? Like that, you can't predict that.
No.
But it did, in the relative sense, it stunted his development at a crucial age.
And made people look at him getting drafted with a lot more of a skeptical eye.
Yeah, cynical eye.
Yeah, cynical. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. Yeah, a cynical eye as compared to what it would have been if he played a full season and averaged 10 points a game, which he's more than capable of doing.
At a good school in a great conference. Like that would have been, but he didn't. But Charlie's going to be scrutinized. But again, Tiger ruptured Achilles, has had the surgery, on the road to recovery. How long it takes, we shall see. Best of luck to him. This is the Postgame Show.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. It's that time again. Break out your clubs for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. This year in partnership with the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Join us on Friday, March 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Call Charwood today to sign up and secure your foursome at 803-755-2000. We'll have the Par 5 Golf Club Cannon and also be giving away a pair of baseball and football season tickets to 2 lucky winners. Plus, one of our special guests is Basketball Hall of Famer and former Gamecock great Alex English. So don't miss out. Call Charwood today at 803-755-2000 to register.
I'm Bill Ryder, the Sports Minute. Congratulations to Justin Fields for landing a 2-year, $40 million deal with the New York Jets. He deserves another chance. He deserves a shot at starting the National Football League. He deserves to put behind him the Steelers' mistaken decision to bench him midway through last season for Russell Wilson. Unfortunately, he'll almost certainly fail, because where you go, the Jets in particular, is more important than who you are. I'm Bill Ryder.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and the MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99. In-store only, limit supplies. See store for details. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1897. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1897. That's 800-575-1897. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton law firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Minutes in front of 5 o'clock on this Tuesday. Welcome back in. It's the Postgame Show. Coming up top of the hour, headlines of the day. More on the Gamecocks, drive around the SEC, all in the final hour of today's program. You know, things happen in life, and you say to yourself, you know, I think I've heard it all, or I've seen it all, or I've done it all, or whatever. And then something comes along, and you're like, oh, I guess I haven't. You know, we've had Nebraska and Southern Cal and some others, they don't want to play their spring game. And we had Mark Stoops earlier say, yeah, we want to play Louisville. It's going to be tough. We hear college football coaches say, like, and college football coaches, God bless them, you know, a lot of them really just, they're uber paranoid. Now we have another example of this, only I don't even know what to make of this, Elijah Campbell, so you may need to help me. Today it was announced that new/old West Virginia head football coach Rich Rodriguez has banned his players from doing TikTok dances.
Huh?
Uh-huh. You heard me right. Ban on dancing on TikTok, which TikTok is certainly very known for. Even I know that. I've seen my girls do that many, many times. Quote, they're going to be on it, so I'm not banning them from it. I'm just banning them from dancing on it. It's like, look, we try to have a hard edge or whatever, and you're in there in your tights dancing on TikTok. Ain't quite the image of our program that I want.
I guarantee you if he still had Pat White and Steve Slayton and they were doing TikTok dances, he would not care.
Of his ability to ban his players. Quote, I'm allowed to do that. I can have rules. 20 years from now, if they want to be sitting in their pajamas in the basement eating Cheetos and watching TikTok or whatever the hell, they can go at it. Smoking cannabis, whatever.
Surprised he didn't call it a reefer.
Knock yourself out. Adding, I hope our focus can be on winning football games. How about let's win the football game and not worry about winning the TikTok. Rich Rodriguez.
This sounds like a man who still only uses social media on a desktop, and it's only Facebook.
Dude, this sounds like a man who still has like a pager from the 80s and doesn't have anything else. This sounds like somebody who's still using a typewriter.
I bet he sent a fax today.
I mean, look. One thing that I feel, in all seriousness, about something like this is when you make something that's so otherwise common for that generation and rather innocuous in the grand scheme, illicit behavior, all they're going to want to do is go do it. You just make it that much more appealing. You can have hard-edged football players who how old is he now? Because he sounds like he's like in his 90s or like 137. And I don't mean that to be disparaging to any of you who are of any certain age.
He's 61.
Really?
My father, who is 2 years older than he is, did a TikTok dance with my sister like last month.
Well, my girls kept trying, like, Dad, just do one with us. And I'm like, I just can't dance, so I'm not gonna. So I didn't. But I don't know what what are you afraid of? That's the question I now have. Because I kind of know where I think his head is, but knowing where it is and agreeing with it are two different things. I don't agree with this at all. Just who cares,
My thing is like he says he's banning this so you can focus more on football. Like, buddy, these guys have lives too. They're not going to be thinking about football 24/7, 365. You don't think about football 24/7, 365 as much as you'd like to convince yourself that you do. There will be no correlation between the number of TikToks posted and wins. There will be none. Absolutely none. I can guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I mean, look, how much of a deal breaker is this for kids that want to play for him or not? I don't know, but...
Probably not, but, I mean...
Just walk around with a sign that says, get off my lawn.
Like, how about you think about football stuff, Rich? That's not a football thing.
Hour 3 coming up.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Sponsored by Metz Plumbing.
844-732-DRIP. If you got a problem, it just won't quit. And you need a plumber, Metz Plumbing, MetzPlumbing.com.
They're here. You can see them. Weeds. Hi, this is Paul Romenstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. It's not too late to get the beautiful lawn that you want. Sign up for our Midlands Green Treatment Program today and let our experts help you with fertilization, weed control, and everything it takes to get you a green, lush lawn. Are you ready? Give us a try at hateweeds.com. hateweeds.com.
Firehouse Subs has partnered with Hot Ones to introduce 2 new limited-time subs. The Zesty Garlic Hook and Ladder features Hot Ones garlic Fresno hot sauce, crispy garlic chips, and marinated onions for a milder heat.
The Spicy Dill Hook and Ladder takes it up a notch with the Last Dab Pickle, a dill pickle marinated in Reaper hot sauce. Both subs are served on the classic hook and ladder you know and love with piled high smoked turkey, honey ham, melted pepper jack cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Order both subs today at a Firehouse Subs near you.
Offers not in conjunction plus tax and title. Call 888-214-1167 for details. It's the grand opening of our brand new JT's Kia on Greystone Boulevard. And we're giving away $10,000 in cash. Just come in and register at either JT's Kia location. JT makes it easy. No payments for 6 months. Get up to 20% more for your trade and you could win $10,000. Our grand opening celebration is going on now at JT's Kia. Killian Road at I-77 or the all-new JT's Kia Greystone.
Don't miss
miss Aaron's 70th anniversary celebration all March long with 7 amazing deals, each under $70 a month, like a beautiful Woodhaven Shea sofa or a powerful HP laptop. Bring them home today, then pay your way over time with no long-term commitment. Plus, one penny gets you started on name brand appliances, electronics, and furniture. Explore the deals at Aaron's.com or your local Aaron's store. Don't wait. Aaron's anniversary sale ends March 31st.
Approval not guaranteed. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. And now, WIS-TV traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
From the WIS Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. The few accidents to get to you that are causing some issues on the roadways, starting with one at Brookfield Road at Decker Boulevard, one on Green Lawn Drive at Garner's Ferry Road, Hampton Street near Sumter Street, Highway 1 at Augusta Road at Sparkleberry Lane, and lastly, one on US 176 and Broad River Road between Sunset Drive and Greystone Boulevard.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. Checking out what's up in the world of sports.
This just in. Breaking news is breaking out everywhere.
The 5 o'clock news on the Postgame show.
If you're just joining us, I'm covering some breaking news. You know news is breaking because I'm telling you so, and I might touch my earpiece like this.
Sponsored by Integrated Media, Columbia's premier home theater and security experts for over 20 years. On the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
It is 5 o'clock on this Tuesday. Welcome back in. Final hour of the post-game show. In addition to the headlines, alongside Elijah Campbell, I'm Jay Phillips. We appreciate you being with us again. Got breaking news on one of the biggest sports stars on the planet, Tiger Woods, today undergoing surgery after rupturing his left Achilles tendon while practicing at home. The 49-year-old had the surgery in West Palm Beach. It was minimally invasive. According to his doctor, Charlton Stucken, quote, the surgery went smoothly and we expect a full recovery. Tiger has not competed on the tour this year. In fact, the last time he played in any official event, it was at the Open over in Scotland back in July. He has been competing in the golf league, the indoor golf league, the golf league, TGL. Hadn't done great. I watched a little bit of that.
A little bit. It's on during the day sometimes.
They come on at like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably for people that are older than you and me. I'm kidding. Kidding.
It's going to go over well.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not here to make... Listen, I already got yelled at one time when I said I was old. Not by you, but by a listener who was older than me. Like, quit saying you're old. And I'm like, I'm just saying.
Like, because then you're calling me old indirectly.
Yeah. I'm not trying to do that. Y'all know I'm just messing around. Now, in all seriousness, hope Tiger will be okay. Last year, he also had micro decompression surgery on his spine.
Oh, that sounds
the 6th
painful.
time he has had lower back surgery in the last decade.
Ooh.
So now this. And again, Tiger will turn 50, I believe, at the end of the year. I want to say his birthday is like in the fall or December or something. I don't have that in front of me. But pulling for Tiger, but no Masters for Tiger this year.
Unfortunate.
Which is unfortunate. Absolutely. Continuing our headlines, and another, really big sports star having a bad day. Garrett Cole, it was announced, will have Tommy John surgery this week. So the Yankee right-hander will not pitch this year, and this is believed that it will impact the beginning of his 2026 season. Last year, he had some elbow issues, did not have surgery, basically joined the Yankees at about the halfway point and did pitch all the way through the World Series. This time around, he had some pain. He had an outing against the Twins the other day. It said there was real bad pain there. Went and had it looked at, and sure enough, a ruptured tendon, so he is done for the season. Cole said the surgery was, quote, necessary for my career. I have a lot left to give. I'm fully committed to the work ahead. I'll attack my rehab every day and support the 2025 Yankees. I love this game, love competing, can't wait to get back on the mound, stronger than ever. So Garrett Cole at age 34, done for the year. He should be okay, but it'll be a while.
I mean, not a great age there's really no good age to get Tommy John surgery, but that's tough. That's a tough blow for the Yanks.
So basically bumps everybody up. Now, Max Fried, of course, joined them and was pretty much expected to be their number 2 behind Cole. Fried, you would think, at least for now, by default, becomes the number 1.
Or
Carlos
Louis Hill.
Rodon and former Gamecock Clark Schmidt will now be elevated up. So Clark is going to take on an even bigger role. And I imagine the Yankees will now go try to find somebody.
Maybe Louis Hill's coming off a really good year. I can imagine he's probably going to be
We'll see.
up in that rotation.
But the Yankees do have insurance on his $36 million contract. He gets paid.
Yes.
But they have insurance. I remember when the Braves got Mike Hampton, and he never really pitched for Atlanta. And it wasn't $36 million, but it was probably the equivalent 20 whatever years ago.
It was a lot. I remember when they signed him. Yeah, that was a lot.
And the Braves had insurance on him too.
It's after he came from Houston, right?
Houston, yeah.
Colorado.
And
Houston, yeah.
Yeah.
Some really good years, early 2000s.
He did. Continuing our headlines of the day, speaking of baseball and the World Series, Dave Roberts and the Dodgers in agreement on a new 4-year deal that will set a record for average annual value on a managerial contract. The new deal pays Roberts $32.4 million, so $8.1 per year. It edges out Craig Counsell's 5-year, $40 million deal with the Cubs. Dave Roberts is only 52. That's crazy.
Oh, that is crazy, yeah.
He will manage this current season under his new deal, and then the extension will kick in from 26 through 29. $8.1 million makes him the highest paid manager in baseball, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't Steve Kerr make like $20 million?
Something like that. Popovich made
Belichick was making close to. And I'm not judging. It's interesting to me that a man who's now won the World Series twice in the second biggest market in the country, second most popular team in the country. And I know only is a relative, only makes $8 million.
Well, compared to his peers in other sports.
Yeah.
Especially considering the other sports have salary caps. And those are for players, but maybe that frees them up to be able to pay their coaches a little bit more.
But it surprises me that this is the biggest deal ever for a manager, and it's not even an 8-figure deal. I mean, you got college football coaches. How many college football coaches are making more than that?
Kirby definitely is.
I mean, there's at least like a dozen or so now, right? I mean, Dan Lanning just signed his new deal.
He's getting 11.
Yeah. I mean, Kirby, Sark, Dabo, again, Lanning, Day. I imagine Franklin's making 8-figure. And again, I'm not judging. I'm not sitting here going, what the heck? It's just interesting to me that a 2-time World Series champion manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers sets a record for Major League managers at $8 million, 8.1.
Yeah, Dave Roberts wouldn't be in the top 10 highest paid head football coaches in college. The entire top 10 makes at least $9 million.
Yeah.
And there's a big tie for 10th, too. So
who are those?
So the ones that are right at $9 million, which are tied for 10th for the highest paid head coaches in the sport, Lane Kiffin, Mark Stoops, Eli Drinkwitz, and Marcus Freeman.
The 2-time World Series champion manager of the Dodgers makes less money than Mark Stoops or Eli Drinkwitz.
Yes. the head football coaches at Kentucky and Missouri.
Is that a baseball problem, I guess?
I mean, it hasn't hurt the coaches in that league. I think they seem pretty satisfied. Dave Roberts maybe making more as a player. I don't know if he ever made more than $8 million in a season.
I don't know that he ever made $8 million in a season either. He was a good player, but he wasn't a great player. You know, he was good. Mostly, but when he was playing in Boston and at like the height of his career, I doubt he was making that much money. Anyway, congratulations, Dave, on becoming the highest paid manager in the history of the sport.
Well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Dave Roberts too. He's great. I don't. Some people don't like the Dodgers. I like the Dodgers. I got zero beef with the Dodgers. Never have had a problem with the Dodgers. I'm always going to be a Braves fan first and foremost. But even when they were in the same division for all those years when I was a kid, which is still weird that the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves were in the National League West.
Yeah,
two Eastern time zone
just
teams.
Not making sense.
But even then, I didn't. I never liked the Astros. And I never liked the Expos or the Mets. I still don't like the Mets. I'll tell you that much.
The Expos.
Yeah.
What an era.
There's part of me that misses that cool logo. I don't miss Tim Wallach.
They had great uniforms.
I swear I think Tim Wallach hit a home run every time he played the Braves.
So the most money Dave Roberts ever made as a player in a single season was in 2008 with the Giants at age 36. He made $6.5 million.
Okay.
But for a while before this contract, though, he was making as much as he did as a player in the twilight of his career.
I don't know. I mean, look, the market is what the market is. So like I say, I'm not here to judge per se. Just it's curious to me. Continuing our integrated media headlines of the day, big congratulations to the players, the students, and the alumni of one Wofford College of Spartanburg, South Carolina. Not only did they win the Southern Conference Championship last night up in Asheville, they did it by beating their hated rival Furman Paladins. Final score 92-85. Wofford, with 2.5 minutes to go, down 4. Kyler Falwich made a layup. Then they hit a 3, got him on top for good. I can't possibly imagine how Wofford folk could feel any happier about this.
Have you watched Kyle Filowich shoot free throws?
Yeah, he does you told me he does the granny style, right?
Guy's like a 31% free throw shooter. So like halfway through the year or whatever, they started, adjusting how he shoots free throws, and he shoots the granny style, Rick Barry looking free throws. And drilled 2 big ones last night.
Yeah, now he still doesn't doesn't have a great percentage, right?
It's still bad. Yeah,
because Rick Barry shot like 90%.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Filowich is now on the season 32% from the free throw line. But they made 14 threes. Both teams made at least 13 3-pointers in that game.
Now, Furman had a much better season overall than did Wofford, which, again, makes this that much sweeter. Wofford finished 10-8 in conference play, 19-15 overall. Furman was 25-9, 11-7. So not dramatically better in conference play, but better nonetheless, and certainly better overall. But congrats to the Terriers. So to my good friend Martin Moore, who I spoke with earlier, and all of you who I know that have gone to Wofford.
Man, you want to talk about what college basketball is all about? Last night was what it was all about. You had a neutral site game, conference championship for the right to go to the NCAA tournament, a neutral site where it was filled with both Furman and Wofford fans.
An hour away, if that,
and
for
that
both
was a
schools.
true split gym.
Yeah.
You could hear it on the TV broadcast last night. That was a true split gym. 2 teams fighting to extend the season, a bunch of 3-pointers made, a bunch of lead changes. That's what it's all about, man. That was a cool-looking atmosphere. I would have loved to have been in that building. I've seen videos online of people taking, videos of the big 3 that Corey Tripp made at the end of the game that basically helped kind of put it on ice, and it got loud. Like, that was a really cool-looking environment. That is what the magic of college basketball is. Not stupid super leagues or expanding the tournament to 100 teams. This is it, man. Like that's what it was all about. That was fun.
If I was in college, if I was a Wofford student and I had been at that game, you'd have found me this morning like on the floor at Burial Brewing down on South Slope. Be like, what's wrong with that guy? He's like, oh, his team won last night.
Oh, Wofford just punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
You think he's going to be okay? Oh, yeah, he'll be fine.
Somebody who went to college at a mid-major school, winning your conference tournament and going to the NCAA tournament is a massive deal. That's like the maximum amount of fun you could have. Now you can at least, maybe get to the college football playoff, maybe. But, like, that's the height, right, is your team winning your school winning a conference championship and then getting to play in the NCAA tournament. I still, to this day, if I ever, if there's a summer day and I'm bored and I want to watch something or have something on as background noise while I work, sometimes I'll put on that first-round game where MTSU beat Michigan State
you should.
back in 2015.
Yeah, I love doing stuff like that.
They did that the day after I got accepted into school.
All right, so
awesome.
I'm not looking for an EBPI. You don't know who they're going to play yet, but Wofford will be a 16?
Maybe. Joey Brackett's last night going into that game had Furman, projecting Furman to win as the 15th seed playing.
I figured
2-seeded Michigan State.
Ooh.
So maybe Wofford just takes that place and they become the 15th seed. There have been some upsets in some of the smaller conferences, smaller than the SoCon.
Right.
That might take up, like Nebraska, Omaha, and SIU Edwardsville will probably take one of the two.
I watched some of that Edwardsville game. That was fun.
That was fun. Edwardsville's fun.
That was fun.
That's their first time ever making the NCAA.
That was on after Carolina's game the other day, and I was just rolled right into it. And I was like, you know what? This is.
Let's watch a ticket get punched.
OVC, baby. Yeah.
The OVC is not what it once was, but still can create some fun basketball.
Yeah.
Edwardsville was a fun team.
Yeah, that was good.
They're frisky.
That was a fun watch. Congrats again to the Wofford Terriers back to the NCAA tournament. And that is our integrated media headlines of the day. 803-948-8327 for all your home theater needs, home security, and so much more. Only one place to call. That's our good friends at Integrated Media. Come back on the other side, touch on a few Gamecock notes ahead of tomorrow's game with Arkansas. But I'm also going to revisit what had Elijah and me a little riled up earlier in the program. You're listening to the Postgame Show.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive. This report is sponsored by Carolina Conditions Home Services. Carolina Conditions Home Services specializes in generators, drains, and electric car chargers, making them your one-stop shop for all your comfort needs. Visit their website at carolinaconditions.com or call 803-233-7172 for expert service you can count on.
Sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends April 5th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Offers not in conjunction, plus tax entitled with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. We're into week 2 of JT's Jeep Ram grand opening on Greystone. And you can win $10,000 just for stopping by. Hundreds of new Jeeps and Rams to choose from. Get up to $12,000 in factory rebates and up to 20% more for your trade. Is your credit less than grand? JT loves to say you're approved. And you could win $10,000. Highway 378 Lexington or the all-new JT's Jeep Ram on Greystone. Ram Truck Month.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on. Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get zero down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,000 off select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by Pioneer Farm Equipment in Orangeburg, 1 mile off of I-26 exit 154B, or at PioneerFarmSC.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
Hey, y'all, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Van City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Minutes after 5 o'clock on this Tuesday. Welcome back in. That's Lettuce bringing us back. They'll be one of the headline groups on Saturday down in 5 Points. So
highly recommend.
Come join me. I'll be down there. Be fun. Second time I'll be able to see them. Saw them down at the Senate. Was that last year? Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year. Last March.
So about a year ago. Yeah, it was a spring. Yeah.
That was like the night before the Florida basketball game, men's basketball game.
Man. Good show. Looking forward to that on Saturday. I mean, I haven't looked at a forecast. Everything looking good on Saturday?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Thanks.
I ain't going to be here, so I've...
All right, so I'm going to revisit this, if only because I think it ties into some of the things that we talk about a lot around here when it comes to rivalries and things like that. But this morning, Mark Stoops, who, again, Elijah blows my mind here when he sits here and says that Mark Stoops makes more money than Dave Roberts, but whatever.
He has not won as many World Series as Dave Roberts.
No, he is not. He's not.
Did the research.
Don't think he's won more national championships yet.
Well, surely he's won more SEC.
He's won more SEC.
No.
Mark Stoops was on Kentucky Sports Radio today. KSR has a network all across the state of Kentucky. Again, they're very good at what they do. And so this isn't about them or anything like that. They ask him, hey, if the SEC goes to 9 football games, conference games, are you going to keep playing Louisville? And he's like, yeah, but it's going to be tough. And it really set me off like instantly when I saw it. And I texted a lot. I threw something out on Twitter. And I just asked, I'd love for somebody up that way to answer the question. And I'm not trying to like get into some kind of debate over this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is it going to be tough? And I know what he's trying to say. We don't want to lose. And just to remind all of you, the last time, I mentioned this earlier in the program. I was just chomping at the bit. So we talked about this a little while ago. The last time that Kentucky played 2 power conference non-con games was 2004. And it was Louisville, obviously, is one. And the other was Indiana. And again, most of you who follow college football know that until last year with what Coach Cignetti did, rare is the season where playing Indiana is something you fear. All right? And I'm not even sure, with all due respect, and they are due a lot of respect, I'm not so sure the Big Ten is still looking at Indiana this coming season going,
oh, my God. Terrified.
They're just not. But that's the point I'm making. That's the last time they played two power conference teams in the non-con. And typically they play a really weak non-con.
They'll play Murray State occasionally.
Right.
Football.
Eastern Kentucky. Anyway, and look, I'm not trying to like directly judge or equate or compare or contrast or whatever else, but Elijah and I had Coach Beamer on a few weeks ago talking about how Carolina this year has Virginia Tech and Clemson. You always have Clemson, duh. Next year, Miami and Clemson. And he's like, bring it. We're here for that. This is what we want. This is what we do. This is who we are. We bring guys in who want to play the biggest kind of games. And yes, going to 9 conference games means everybody's going to, every ninth game is going to have a loser, if you will. People lose. It's sports.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be afraid of losing. And to me, that's what I saw from Mark Stoops, heard from Mark Stoops, read from Mark Stoops today. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough to keep that game. Why, Mark? Because you don't want to lose. That's just
soft.
It is, man. It's like I want to go. What's softer than soft? Because that's what that is. And I don't like it that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, that the Bedlam game went away. Doesn't need to go away. Play the damn game. Again, I know I'm cynical and being a smart aleck when I say what I'm about to say. I've said it before. I said it today. I'll say it again. Here's how easy it is. You set a date. You play the game. It's that easy.
Simple two-step process.
It is that. And don't tell me it's not. I don't want anybody anywhere going, well, Jay, legit.
Well, especially when it's Kentucky and Louisville. You're not flying across the bleeping
play
country
the game.
to play the game.
What are they, an hour and a half apart from each other? Play the game.
Yeah.
Play the game. Oregon and Oregon State, proud of you. Washington and Washington State, proud of you. A&M and Texas, not proud of you when you went away. Oklahoma State, not proud of you. And I can't possibly imagine, Elijah Campbell, for even 1 second, that anybody in any position of leadership, authority, whatever, at South Carolina or Clemson, should their respective conferences go to 9 conference games, and I believe they probably both will in the not-too-distant future, would go, yeah, we're going to see the conference go to 9, but, we're not going to play Palmetto Bowl anymore. Sorry.
The uproar that would cause.
Dude, I tell you what.
It'd come from this show, too.
It would come from this show. Amen, brother. And considering that the seat of government is literally right there, and I'm pointing at the State House for those of you who can't see me, because it is right there.
Pogo stick jump distance.
20-second walk from the State House. I wouldn't even want to be in here. I would do a show remotely that day because I wouldn't want to be in downtown Columbia when the riots happened. Because of that. It's unfathomable around here, right?
Wouldn't even be a thought.
Yeah, you and I talked. It was horrible, the COVID year, that we couldn't play Carolina Clemson. And I don't care if Clemson was capable of beating the Eagles and Carolina couldn't beat Irmo JV. You play the game, man. But it is so soft. It's going to be – no, the answer to the question is, heck yeah, we want to play that game. That's the answer, period. And I'll remind everybody, too, I did this earlier as well, about Carolina Clemson. Some people say, well, they have to play. There's a law. There is no law. I do every once in a while remind people there is no law that mandates Carolina. But you know what? If push came to shove and somebody in some position of authority were to even mildly hint at something like that, then there might actually be a push to put a law on the books across the street to make certain that Carolina and Clemson played one another. But I don't think that would ever happen. I just don't. And it's remarkable to me that big, tough Mark Stoops from the Hayden Fry School of Iowa football and growing up in Ohio and a tough football guy says, it's going to be tough. And I said this too, and this may sound disrespectful. I don't care. Imagine being afraid to play Louisville in football.
And that's maybe why his team has underachieved the last couple of years. Because if your team takes on the attitude of your coach, then you are a little fearful to play in certain places.
I mean, even if they had 10 Lamar Jacksons.
I wouldn't want my coach to publicly be like, it's going to be hard to do that if we have to play 9 conference games. That shows that there's a timidness to that.
Yeah.
That's just a bad look. You are the big bad SEC. And you as a team in Kentucky, like since he's taken over, 2 of the best years. They've had 4 10-win seasons in school history. He is responsible for 2 of them.
Yeah.
And you're scared to play Louisville?
Louisville in football without Lamar Jackson or Johnny Unitas.
Like, also, what does that say about your thoughts on your team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would much rather play Murray State. We can win that game. I don't know about Louisville.
I don't know if we can play Louisville.
I don't know.
Come on, man. Soft.
Someone tell him that Lamar Jackson's out of eligibility and that he's playing in Baltimore right now in something called the NFL, where he doesn't have to come back to college and play. That man can't hurt you anymore. He can't. He can't hurt you anymore.
So just be Carolina Clemson fans. Be happy with what you have in leadership at both of your schools, because there would never be a comment made like that. Certainly not one publicly, but there's not one privately either.
Yeah, guarantee you, whenever the SEC does eventually do 9 conference games, because they will, I feel really confident they'll make that happen because of the money that's involved.
Yes.
It will not be a single thought between Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney as to whether or not we're going to continue playing the Palmetto Bowl. No, it will not be brought up.
No, nor should it. So there you go. All right. I feel better now. Thanks.
It was a good release.
Yeah, I needed to do that. So here's hoping for all involved. Come back on the other side. SEC men's basketball tournament starts tomorrow. Going to get Elijah to start breaking down some of the first round matchups when the postgame show returns.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Joint Chiropractic Center is ready to help you out when you're waking up a little stiff. Yeah, you've been doing some work, shoulder, neck, back pain, just not treating you right. Well, get into the Joint and feel better. That's what it's all about. Convenient, affordable, helps you maintain a healthy body, and it prevents reoccurring issues. That's what Janet and Bob Keene have been doing for many, many years at all 4 of their local Joint Chiropractic Centers. Those centers, by the way, located on Harbison Boulevard, Forest Drive, Roberts Branch off Killian, and Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. Never been? For just $29, you'll get an initial consultation, exam, and chiropractic adjustment. You can ask questions about what's going on so that you know exactly what's happening. Once you're in the system, you can see Joint Chiropractic Centers all across the country, traveling for a game, for work, for vacation. No sweat. Remember, at the Joint, you don't have to feel bad to feel better. Tell them we sent you and feel better at the Joint.
Quietest dishwasher in the land. Like a Bosch. Dishes drier than the desert sand. Like a Bosch. Wash the dishes like a Bosch.
Clean like a Bosch. Check out the selection of Bosch dishwashers at the Nest in the Vista. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. Act now for spectacular savings on the best selection of new Chevys. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me, John Ecton.
Plumber near me.
Hey, we can help.
Weird. Only big companies.
No, we're only 2 miles away. Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you yet. Get Cumulus Boost and get on the map. CumulusBoost.com.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. And now, WIS TV traffic sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive on the Game Network.
From the WIS Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. The few accidents to get to, they're causing some issues on the roadways, starting with one on Brookfield Road at Decker Boulevard, Chain Gang Road at Garner's Ferry Road, Divine Street near Woodrow Street, Farrow Road at Highway 55 at Hardscrabble Road, Green Lawn Drive at Garner's Ferry Road, 2 on Highway 1 at Augusta Road, one near Laurel Road and the other at Sparkleberry Lane, one on Purcell Road at Highway 12 between Alpine Road and Clemson Road, and one on US 176 at Broad River between Sunset Drive and Greystone Boulevard.
It's time for our drive around the SEC on the Postgame Show.
Georgia on the mountaintop. Demons be gone, and the drought is over. National champions.
On the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
.34 here on a Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you. It is indeed time for the drive around the SEC. Men's basketball tournament gets underway tomorrow. The Gamecocks and the Arkansas Razorbacks will get it going from Nashville. Elijah will be on site, not just for tomorrow's game, but throughout the weekend. So looking forward to his coverage. We appreciate all that are bringing that to us.
All right. Columbia Craft will be sponsoring my live stream on YouTube at the end of each night of the tournament, doing recaps.
I need to get down there and get me some little nostalgia goggles.
Yeah, those are so good.
It's been a while.
Has been.
Where's Maz? Call Maz. Maz?
I'll call Maz up right now.
Maz, need some beer.
Ringing the Maz bell.
Yeah. The Maz
please.
signal.
Please.
Yeah. Big pint,
I'm out of beer.
Big pint glass in the sky.
Kind of like the Maz signal. It's great.
It's actually not bad. We need to do that. Get on that. We got a big building here, too.
We do. I mean, we have the capability of
throw that puppy up
projecting that logo out into the sky.
All right. We better stop talking about beer. Joe Lenardi predicts 13. 13.
Heavens.
And Texas is on the cusp. I mean, there could be a 14th. Potentially Carolina, LSU not going to make it without winning this event. And Texas is on the outside looking in as we stand. Everybody else is in the field at this point. Oklahoma he has in the play-in round in Dayton. And Arkansas is among the last 4 buys. Other than that, everybody's secure. Georgia's a 9.
Georgia's secure, yeah. Vanderbilt secure.
So
really, the teams fighting for their lives here and that really need to win, Oklahoma and Texas and Arkansas.
Yeah. So let's look at these. We've talked a lot already about Carolina, Arkansas. Again, the EBPI is 50-50. The BPI is 68-32 in favor of Arkansas. South Carolina, of course, dominated Arkansas here in Columbia a few weeks ago. Just a game, I was stunned because, as Derek Scott pointed out to us when he joined us earlier, Elijah, in the games coming in, a couple of games coming in, Arkansas had played well. And then in the 2 games after they came to Columbia, they played well. I joke when I say this, but it just felt like one of those where a lot of us as sports fans, like, when a team just gets so thoroughly dominated, you're like, did y'all know what time the game started? Like, that's what it felt like. Like, when I remember calling you or texting you, I forget my words, but there was some level of incredulity about them. I know that much.
Arkansas knew the game was today. Right?
Yeah, something like that, man. Because I was just like, how for these versions and with what Arkansas had been doing, I just did not see that happening. And you like the matchup.
Love it. I mean, what South Carolina does offensively is the one thing that Arkansas does not defend very well. Very powerful, physical bigs who can score inside. I mean, when the game was here, that Colin, when he got the ball, was getting into the paint whenever he wanted. There's just not many really good defenders, especially if Adu Thero is not healthy to play. He's Arkansas's kind of in-between guard-forward player, kind of a tweener, but he can guard forwards out on the perimeter. He guards. He is a very vital piece to what they do defensively, and they're a top 20 defensive unit in the country. But whenever it was Trevin Brazile or Zvonimir Visic guarding Colin's taking them to the rack every time, or he's at least drawing 2 to the ball, and he's dumping it off to Nick. They even ran, kind of like isolated post-ups for Nick Pringle, and Nick was getting whatever he wanted on a Visic or Brazile. It really didn't matter which one of those 2 was in. A little harder against Adu, and Jonas Adu was their only source of offense. And I think Arkansas is going to shoot the ball better, but they're still not going to light it up. It would be a statistical anomaly if Arkansas shot more than 30 or better than 33% from 3 in this game. They're a bad 3-point shooting team, and they just don't have that breakaway on offense to make me comfortable saying, yeah, Arkansas is definitely going to win this game. South Carolina is just a bad matchup because they have a way to score a basket, a blueprint for it every single possession down the floor. Arkansas doesn't necessarily have that.
The winner of tomorrow's game will get Ole Miss on Thursday, same time slot, 1 o'clock Eastern, give or take. Game 2 tomorrow afternoon is Texas and Vandy. As you just mentioned, feels like Vandy is comfortably into this field, at least at this point in time. Texas is last 4 out. So basically Texas, and here's the deal. Should Texas beat Vandy, they would get A&M for the right to get to Friday. And you would certainly think if Texas were to get to Friday, then they'd be fine at that point in time. But what's the matchup look like from a Vandy perspective?
From a Vandy perspective, you're going to really have to really sell out to make sure Trey Johnson isn't beating you and make the other guys do it. Like, that's the one thing this year that in a lot of Texas's losses, it's a lot of Trey Johnson scoring a lot of points and the other guys not doing as much. But Texas is in every game because Trey Johnson can walk out there and score 30 points, right? And sometimes Texas is, like, to their detriment, they have a lot of their offense centered around a freshman, despite having a bunch of veteran players who have scored a lot in their career. Guys like Jordan Pope, guys like Tremont Mark, who have been really productive college basketball players, Julian Larry, and Jason Kent. Like, those 2 guys were at Indiana State were really productive basketball players, and it feels like the offense is stunted a little bit. And maybe don't be alarmed if Trey Johnson gets his, but if you're Vanderbilt, force him into turnovers. That's the thing about Trey Johnson, too. He's an elite-level scorer and will be drafted in the top 10 of the NBA draft because of his ability to score. He doesn't do anything really well after that. He can't put the ball on the floor and create for others. If anything, create him driving lanes and get, maybe load up on the ball side, help, and make him dish it off, make him make a good pass to somebody for a layup or for a 3. He's not a very accurate passer. And that's one thing I think South Carolina did a really good job of when they played here.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt can do that.
Yeah. Vandy, a 2.5-point favorite on from a bookmaking perspective, but the computer says Texas 62% chance to win.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Again, winner gets A&M on Thursday. The nightcaps tomorrow, LSU and Mississippi State, followed by Oklahoma and Georgia. Oklahoma's 6 conference wins, 19 overall, and yet they're in this field. I know you like their resume overall, but is it must win? I mean, if you're Oklahoma, I feel like it's must win only in the sense that even if you're projected to be in right now, you better hold your place.
Yeah, because if you look at Oklahoma's resume, like here's the thing. They are outside the top 60 in KPI, which is another metric that the committee loves to use. They're not great in a lot of the predictive metrics. They've never really been great in the predictive metrics at any point this year. And then they've slipped out of the top 45 in net. And if you're looking at a lot of the other teams that are on the bubble, that puts them in the neighborhood with like San Diego State, Indiana, Villanova, West Virginia. Those teams aren't projected to be tournament teams, right? They're behind Boise State, who is a team that's squarely on the bubble. But Oklahoma's kind of in no man's land where they do have 6 quad 1 wins. That's going to help them a ton, but they're 6-10 in those. They have 2 losses outside the quad 1. They also have a quad 3 loss, which looks really bad.
You tell me. This is a national tournament. I understand how strong the Southeastern Conference is. But you're 6-12 in the conference. And if I'm in some other conferences, I might be looking around going, all right, look, man.
How? Yeah.
At some point, you got to draw a line. You're 6-12.
And they do have a win against Michigan in the non-con, which looked really good because Michigan, for the first 3.5 months of the season, looked like world beaters and elite title contenders, and they've kind of fallen off a cliff as well. Funny thing about Michigan is that they have just an interesting statistical side note here. Michigan has a winning record in the Big Ten. They are 14-6 in the Big Ten. They were only like a couple of games out from winning that conference. They have a negative scoring differential in league play, and they're 14-6. So that win has kind of soured as in terms of what your resume looks like now.
More on this event from Elijah's perspective before he heads up there when the post-game show returns.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. It's that time again. Break out your clubs for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. This year in partnership with the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Join us on Friday, March 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Call Charwood today to sign up and secure your foursome at 803-755-2000. We'll have the Par 5 Golf Club Cannon and also be giving away a pair of baseball and football season tickets to 2 lucky winners. Plus, one of our special guests is Basketball Hall of Famer and former Gamecock great Alex English. So don't miss out. Call Charwood today at 803-755-2000 to register.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute. Sam Darnold's off to Seattle and Daniel Jones is heading to Indianapolis, so we can officially start the J.J. McCarthy era in Minnesota. I know McCarthy was a game manager in college, but he did win a national championship and finished his college career with a 27-1 record. Often people say it's all about fit for QB prospects, and J.J.'s in a good spot getting to work with Kevin O'Connell and having Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison at his disposal. So if Sam Darnold can succeed in Minnesota, then why can't J.J. be better? I'm Zach Gelb.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Car wreck? Dial all sevens now. We got a $250,000 settlement for a client injured in a car accident when driver illegally turned in front of him.
Dial all sevens now.
The Nestapool Law Firm is not scared to go to court. We got a $2.5 million jury verdict for our client when the other driver failed to yield.
What do? Good heavens!
Dial all 7.
To get your attorney, dial 800-ALL-7s now.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
Hey, y'all, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Van City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Are you planning on remodeling the inside of your home soon? What about upgrading the backyard with a patio, fire pit, or pool? Maybe not remodeling, but moving to a new home or building a home. Don't forget to add integrated media to your list of to-do items. From installing internet lines to in-ceiling speakers in your home office or kitchen remodel to installing outdoor speakers and a waterproof TV around your new backyard setup, Integrated Media has you covered. When moving from one home to another, the guys can even take down your existing TVs, package them up to transport safely to your new home, and reinstall them. That's one less thing for you to worry about. And last but not least, when planning to build your custom home, make sure that you don't forget about planning for all of today's and tomorrow's technology. You might not need coax cable in your home, but you do need Cat 6 internet lines, and some builders don't even realize this. We can help with any remodeling and new home construction. Give us a call today, 803-948-8327. The best in home theater, Integrated Media.
Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Elijah Campbell on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. Continuing our drive around the SEC as we get Elijah's take on the SEC men's basketball tournament. Again, tomorrow's opening round games, Carolina, Arkansas, winner gets Ole Miss. Texas, Vandy, winner gets A&M. LSU and State, winner gets Mizzou. And the nightcap, Oklahoma, Georgia, that winner gets Kentucky. And Auburn is the number 1 overall seed, Florida the 2, Bama the 3, Tennessee is the 4. I asked Elijah earlier in the day, if Bama and Tennessee were to make it to the title game, could the Southeastern Conference, considering that right now it looks like Florida and Auburn, at least according to Joey brackets, are 1 seeds, could they get 4? And Elijah's like, I just think Duke has done enough, and probably Houston as well. So if Bama and Tennessee were to make it to a title game, and I'm not predicting that they will, but if they did, would they knock one of these teams off? we could see an Alabama-Florida game, and we could see a Tennessee-Auburn game in the semifinals.
They can dethrone Florida.
I know this is a rhetorical question that you can't answer, so it's just more of an opinion thing. Who wants to win this tournament the most? Like that to me, that could be, and I'm not usually that sports guy. Like, well, they wanted it more.
Right.
There may be days when that is something. Again, Auburn's going to be a 1. Right?
Yep, it's locked in.
Yeah, but I don't know that
one locked in.
I don't know that Florida's 1 is locked in. And I do think there's an opportunity for Bama or Tennessee, if they win this championship, to be a 1. So, and that matters. That's fun. That's cool to be a 1. So again, I'll ask, I'm not going to hold you to this, I promise. Who wants to win this tournament the most?
I actually would say it's probably between Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, just because those have the most to gain as it pertains to seeding in the NCAA tournament. Like, I know Joey Brackets has Florida in as a 1 right now, and deservingly so. They definitely have the resume. But let's say they fall flat and lose to Missouri.
Yep.
And Tennessee and Alabama beat, Kentucky and A&M, and then they end up beating, and say if Alabama ends up beating Florida. And
this is if chalk holds, by the way.
Yes. And then it's an Alabama-Tennessee championship game. That could very well be for a 1 seed, the 1 seed that Florida was going to occupy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that matters most because when you look at the resumes, they are really similar. Like if you're comparing Florida and Tennessee has more quad 1 wins. Tennessee has a better average net ranking win of teams they beat and better in losses as well. They split the head-to-head with Florida. And then now they will have been playing better basketball late because they will be winning an SEC championship if they're to win it. Alabama, on the other hand, will have then, because this assumes they beat Florida to get to the SEC championship game, will have split with Florida, but have beaten them in the more recent meeting on a neutral floor. And then we'll also have more quad 1 wins, better rank of teams they've beat, and better rank of teams they have gotten beaten by. And it helps that Alabama has the number 1 strength of schedule in the entire country. So if they were to win 3 games in 3 days and be 27-7 with 14 quad 1 wins at that time, how do you not make Alabama a 1 seed, right? And Florida, it would be really down between those two, and then you have a recent result. Yeah. So I think those two between Alabama and Tennessee can do the leapfrogging of Florida to become a 1 seed if that were.
If I were to answer my own question, I think you just kind of hit it. I don't know why and sometimes how our brains work. Something tells me Alabama really wants to win this thing.
Oh yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
And they're good in this event too. Yeah. I mean, they've won. They won 2 years ago. They won the first SEC tournament I covered in 2021, and that helped them a lot. That propelled them to a 2 seed that year. Uh-huh. So they could do some damage in this tournament. They've done it before.
But Bruce loves this thing too, man. I again,
Bruce does love this thing.
There's no wrong answer. And look,
Bruce loves cutting down nets.
Not a big fan of Todd Golden anymore, but I would imagine that there's probably some part of Todd Golden's brain that says winning this would be some weird form of like vindication or something. I don't know about
he believes it probably would legitimize himself.
Something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think A&M could win this event.
They could. They're probably the toughest team.
Yeah. I don't know that anybody else that's not playing starts Friday could win it, but I feel like A&M Buzz might find a way.
It's a good dark horse.
Safe travels, sir, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Y'all have a good night.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy